This is the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Name. Here's another OMFL production.
Welcome to Press Pass Live, the draft show. That's right, it's season 84, and it is our draft show, which is always one of our funnest things that we do here. So I am so glad that you tuned in with us today. And I got my buddy, Mr. Maniac, with me. How you doing on a Thursday night, bud?
I'm doing wonderful, ready for this OMFL draft. It's the biggest time of the year. It's like Christmas.
It is like Christmas. We did not get to do a pre-draft show, which is something we normally do here, but we weren't able to make that happen this time. Give me one quick second. Looks like I got... Let's see. All right, that should fix my little problem that I was having here. Yeah, we weren't able to do a draft show, but we are able to go live here. Let's do a little catch-up real quick. So we're going to catch up where I left off, and as soon as we catch up, then we're going to jump right into the draft show. We'll get it going live here in just about 2 minutes. Can you give me, let's say, the last maybe 8 picks, 10 picks, something like that?
Okay, let's see.
Maybe start at the Saints pick and just kind of go from there.
All right, yeah, that would be about 10 picks then. All right, the Bears drafted right outside linebacker Andre Mincy.
All right, got him.
And the Bengals drafted defensive tackle Muhammad May.
All right, got him.
Cardinals selected cornerback Keydron Sims.
Got him.
The Bengals selected middle linebacker Everett Griffin.
All right, I got him.
And then the Ravens selected middle linebacker Mac Bookman.
All right, I got him.
Falcons selected left tackle Howard Kendall.
Let's get Mr. Kendall here. All right, got him.
And the Jets selected defensive tackle Avius Vasher.
All right,
That's
Mr. Vasher. That is a hell of a name, isn't it?
I'm telling you. And Seahawks drafted wide receiver Brian Stackhouse.
Let me get Basher real quick. I can't seem to find him. Where is he at? What was the name again?
Avius.
Oh,
maybe it's just
Basher. I heard Basher. Okay, I got him. All right, who's our next one?
The wide receiver Stackhouse to the Seahawks.
Figures, Mr.
And going the speed.
And his wide receivers, man. All right, we got him.
All right, the Packers selected left outside linebacker Ace Stevens.
All right, we got him.
And Texans selected left end Parrish Freeman.
All right, we got Mr. Freeman. Does that catch us up where we are?
I believe. Well, we have. Let's see. When I backed out, I noticed that there was another pick.
So it looks like we got the Bills. Were they the next pick?
Let me see.
Let's see. Center Ritzman. All right.
Okay, it was actually the Rams selected left tackle Jeffrey Simmons.
All right, let me get Mr. Simmons.
And then the center Quinn Ritzman to the Bills.
And that catches us up where we are at a paused pick, and so we're ready to go. Thanks again for being so patient with us. It has been a crazy day, as we all have these crazy work days. I'm actually outside, as crazy as that sounds. We have this new little outside, like, wet bar area, and I'm actually outside doing this for a little bit before I move inside because the wife has the TV. So I think that we just got the next pick. We're going to go ahead and go live draft. So let me get it to there, and that's going to be on the Patriots. We're going to get Mr. Jason Allen. Let's see. I got a little lag here because I'm actually outside watching. So we're live here. So if you could give me, ooh, I don't know why I did that. If you could give me the last 2 picks.
Okay, let me transaction log here. All right, the Steelers selected defensive tackle Jason Allen.
All right, we get over there to defensive tackle.
And in the Patriots,
Jason Allen.
Jason Allen.
Oh, there he is. Okay. All right, who was the next pick?
And then the Patriots selected right guard Travis Paxton.
All right, Mr. Right Guard Travis Paxton. All right, now that catches us up right where we are. Now we can talk some OMFL football, man. It has been a crazy draft. Are we already into round 2? I don't even know technically. Yeah, we are. We're in round 2, pick number 7 here, and it has been crazy. I mean, we've had a really look. We got a whole 1 round and already into the 2nd round with a pause draft. So very successful pause draft for us again this year, and there has been a major run. On some offensive line talent, which is not abnormal, but the linebackers have been crazy. They have been flying off the board, and there's actually not much left. If you needed a linebacker, you should have took him in the 1st round because there just isn't much left to choose from. What do you think about the draft so far?
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the two positions that I needed, and I backed out. I gave Mo my pick, and we traded. And I really needed a offensive lineman and a linebacker, and just to see all these guys flying off the board the way they have been, just makes me sick to my stomach. But it has been crazy with the linebackers for sure.
Why do you think the linebacker's going off? Now, there hasn't been.
They're
you
saying
can't hear Maniac. Why would you not be able to hear Maniac? Hold on a second. Let's check that. Give me a test.
Testing.
Yeah, it's working. I mean, I see you on my end. I'm not quite sure why they can't hear you. Let me pump myself up a little bit. Give me a little more juice here. But give me one more test.
Testing.
Yeah, you're good and loud, so I'm not quite sure why they can't hear you. It's got to be something on their end. So, because I can hear you, you're showing up on the soundboard, so everything should be good to go. Why are we back in a pause draft? I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on here. I hit resume draft and it started. All right, we're going to do this again. All right, we're going to hit X.
There we go.
Now
the countdown began.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm not sure what happened there. I hit it a couple different times. But thanks for tuning in to the YouTube channel. Give us a like and subscribe. Here we go. Mr. Burton going over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mr. Free Safety. I'm going to read off them, and I'm going to let you kind of keep me up. And so here we go. Mr. Burton from Memphis, a zone player. Pretty fast. Actually, he's the guy who didn't go to the combine. He's the cat that skipped the combine.
That's right.
I'm really interested if you see a picture of him that we kind of find out what he looks like. 200 pounds, 6'0", 21 years old from Memphis. Decided to sit out the combine for various different reasons. We'll see how that pays off for him. He still goes pretty high here in the 2nd round. Could have been a 1st round pick, but because of him skipping the combine, it dropped him down here to the 2nd round, and we're starting to see a little bit of a play in the skill position. A couple cornerbacks have gone off, a couple of safeties now have gone off. Nice little run there.
Oh, then we got a wide receiver just off the board to Philly.
All right, he's got Cersei. Let's look at Mr. Cersei. I'll tell you what I got on Mr. Cersei. Mr. Cersei, 6'4", 215, out of Bowling Green, a possession cat. It looks like he ran a 4.50. He did 18 in the bench press. Can kind of catch everything around him. More of like a West Coast big, tall guy. Like think Terrell Owens. That's going to be the kind of guy. Maybe not quite as much size, but definitely has the hands and the height, and is going to run those short routes really, really well. So nice pick up there for the Eagles, who are still trying to find themselves offensively after a pretty down season last year.
Yeah, a guy like this can definitely help your team in the offensive possession, keeping the chains moving, and then also he could be a weapon down in the red zone too. I know he's a possession guy, but those possession guys can make those catches in the tight windows down there in the red zone. So.
Yep, absolutely. We do have the YouTube channel up. I will try to pay attention to it as much as I possibly can. We are here live in the chat on Discord. Of course, you can watch us with a little bit of a 3-second delay on YouTube. We'll bring in some guest speakers a little later tonight. No need to send me any more photos. Of course, we are not posting them on Twitter anymore. Just because I'm doing a live show. So lots of really fun stuff. Here we go. Left tackle Kazel, Boston College, goes over to the Detroit Lions. Let's see what I can find on him. You're starting to see a little bit of a run on offensive line now. Ian Kazel, second round grade, so he goes where he's supposed to. 6'7", 328 pounds. More of an impact run blocker guy. Did 31 in the bench press. Nice pick for the Detroit Lions, who really turned to a running game last year, became a super run-heavy team, almost a little bit too much of a run-heavy team, but they're really trying to rebuild that offensive line, and this just speaks to they're going to continue to run the ball, and you're going to have to force them to pass the ball.
Yeah, he was definitely somebody that I had pegged for my board. Was kind of hoping he'd be one of the ones that would fall, but I mean, to be honest, this year's draft, it's got good talent across the board on the offensive line. I think you can really find, if not a starter for this season, but maybe somebody that you can build up, maybe even be an import. If you're pretty sure that your team's O line stinks, going into Madden 20, maybe this is a guy that he has all the tangibles that you can build towards for that import guy.
Now, early rumors were defensive line was not going to be very good in this draft. Quarterback looks pretty weak, but where do you feel are the strength areas left in this draft?
Just with the depth that's on the offensive line, I think offensive line is a one that can we can see that there's still really good depth from in the draft. And I believe wide receiver is another one that has a lot of good talent. It may not be the flashy speed guy, but I think there's a lot of possession, those type of guys that are in this draft that, may have that 86, 87 speed, but can really move those chains. And like I said, the probably on the defense, linebacker was for sure the best, I think, across the board that had been since we've had this Madden, but I think pretty much that well is already dry, and there may be a few cornerbacks left that can contribute on the defensive side, but other than that, probably a few defensive linemen, and then it's already getting slim pickings. From my standpoint, from where I look from the defensive side, it's getting slim.
Yep. Howard Arlington, a wide receiver out of Purdue, possession guy, 6'5", 209. It's not going to wow you with anything outside of his size, but Tampa Bay, listen to me, Cincinnati does prove that they do like those big receivers. They like those guys that can go up and make plays, and he takes a receiver here early. It's shocking to see that it looks like maybe the CPU pick for him, but I don't know. If he ran out of time, and it's sad because that's not a guy that I thought would go this high.
No, and that's somebody that I was kind of expecting maybe to fall into the third round possibly.
Yep.
Ellington is he's that type of possession. I mean, he's got I think his combine numbers were pretty strong. Plus, he comes in at being a really great short route runner and catching traffic. So that's somebody probably that those 5-6 yard routes. Since he will probably really dominate with this guy if he really starts using in that way.
Right guard Dawson Bryam, late fourth round grade on him, 6'5", 321 out of Wake Forest, 22, an agile type lineman. Only did 27 on the bench press, more of a finesse run blocker, an impact and pass blocker, but finesse, really good with his feet, not just super strong. He's going to have to get stronger in the OMFL. But he goes over, I think, to the Miami Dolphins. I think I got that right.
That is
their
correct.
pick here early in the second round. So we got the Giants up on the clock now. Packers, Denver Broncos, Oakland Raiders, Cleveland Browns, Seattle Seahawks, and Washington Redskins. And man, we're flying through. We're almost to the midway point here in the second round. So far, though, who are your kind of winners and teams that you think have drafted really well? I know it's super early here, but there were some teams that had some early picks there in the first round. Who do you think won that first round?
Well, from kind of what I didn't get to see everybody's pick and stuff, but from what I've noticed, the Giants must have made a really good pick there with Macklin. Uh, but I believe the Giants, even the Packers, have done a really good job of drafting so far. So, from kind of a quick glance, I give those two teams a thumbs up basically for their draft so far because they've done a nice job of not falling into that pit, just going for the strong or the fast wide receiver, the fast running back, those type of things. It's they've really worked their board well.
Yeah, you can see that the Giants are really pouring into that offense and really trying I mean defense. I'm sorry, really trying to rebuild that defense. And then it looks like the Green Bay Packers went with a receiver here, Ryan Reyna. Let's see what we can find on Mr. Reyna. Right here, he's 5'8", so I'm pretty sure he's going to be a speed guy, deep threat guy out of Delaware State. This is what I love about him. His number one stat, deep route running, is a C+. But he ran a 4.37, and Priest just cannot help himself. Priest loves the speed. He's like a kid in a candy store. He cannot avoid the speed. This is not a kid that's going to be able to do anything outside of go deep on you, be a punt returner, kick returner. I just, unless he gets lucky and develops this kid, I just don't see a lot coming from that.
Yeah, and I just bragged about him. But speed does kill, and I know it's hard. Yes, and as I was just thinking that when you said that, so you can I guess, compensate for speed and miss other things in your team that you really need and stuff. But so far he's done well. I think that's somebody that he could have waited, maybe got in the next round. Especially if he's just going to be a kick returner, punt returner type guy for him.
I wish I could say I think he would wait to the next round, but somebody else would have took a flyer on that kid. One of these really good teams that don't need a good receiver and just need somebody with speed. Defensive tackle from Cincinnati, Keenan Allen, goes to the Denver Broncos. Let's see what I can get on Mr. Allen. Keenan Allen, 6'7", big kid, 311 pounds, 23 years old, run stopper out of Cincinnati. Really good block shed. He really gets off of the block well, fast. He ran a 4.97 40 for a 315-pound man and did 31 on the bench press. Just an athletic freak nature of a kid. He goes over to Denver as they look to get back off of the schneid, so to speak. I mean, last year was a tough year for them. My controller unplugged. Last year was not a good year for them. Really a down year after a team that had turned some things around the season previous last year. But last year they were back in the hole again and not playing very well. But Keenan Allen is a guy that you can build around on that defense. I don't know if he's going to play 3-4, 4-3. I'd love to see him in a 4-3, but because of his strength, he could play a 3-4. Either way, that's a good player here in the second round, 75 overall.
Yeah, I think the AFC West, I know we kind of turned into a running conference there, or division, and I think that so far from free agency and the draft has been loaded up on linebackers and defensive linemen so far, so everybody's preparing for that rush.
Lawrence Poindexter out of Grand Valley State goes on the next pick. Ran a 4.58 40, did 16 in the bench press. Going to be a strong guy. You never know how those players will work here. Usually they can work pretty well. B.J. Ballard, halfback out of Toledo. He goes over to the Cleveland Browns. Let's see what I got on Mr. Ballard. Oh, come on, there we go.
That's an interesting pick there with Chaotic.
Yeah, why do you think that?
I thought he was really set with his running backs and stuff. I think he has Geis. I don't know. Maybe he's coming up on a contract. Maybe he's thinking a long term. And this guy is 21. Also,
21,
so a young guy.
6 foot, 190 out of Toledo. He ran a 4.45 40. He only did 15 on the bench press, but definitely a speed back. Hopefully he's got good hands, and maybe he could be that running back or that receiving running back for the Cleveland Browns that maybe Geis cannot be as much. But interesting pick there for them. It looks like the Seahawks are going receiver again. Artez Askew. Let's see what we got on Mr. Askew.
He's going for the speed guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's what he's known for, right? 5'9",
Yep.
another short guy out of Butler, 172, a deep threat receiver. His best attribute was catch, but ran a 4.3 740, only 12 on the bench press. He loves his speed guys, and he always has a lot of luck with these speed guys. Even when he says he's not going to play them, they still end up almost winning Rookie of the Year. That's just the way it works in Seattle, right? He's got 15 quarterbacks, so it doesn't matter who he rolls out there. He's going to continue to be efficient and effective, and that speed makes it tough because he's such a good running team. Um, you if you stack the box, he's going to stretch you deep, and if you stretch you deep, he's going to run on the gut. He makes it really, really hard to defend him.
Yeah, yeah, and that's again where it plays into Mo's hands there with you. He sucks you in trying to stop that run, and then he'll hit you over the top with these guys that got a lot of speed. So he's definitely done a good job building his team.
I think we're getting close to my pick. We're a couple picks away. We got the Texans on the clock now. Seahawks, Broncos, Chiefs, Jaguars, Saints, and Bears. I still always scratch my head as we're at pick number 19 here in the second round of, how did the Seahawks continue to gather these high picks? And, I don't know. It's tough. He's got good players that he offers, and these lower teams think that they can build automatically, you know, by getting a player that's already built, and I don't know. It helps them reload, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but I know it sucks when you see a team that's in the championship game almost every single year continue to have top picks like the Falcons and Seahawks.
Yeah, I know. I kind of helped him out, which I didn't give him the top 5 pick that I kept saying I was at the first of the season, but I did pull in that left tackle from him and gave him my first round. And of course, he turned around and made a pretty good pick with the linebacker there out of Texas in the first round with that would have been my pick and stuff. So yeah, he definitely does well building his team, and Mo can sell you dirt and get a first round pick from selling dirt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. Even if my team didn't have a good season, I don't know that I can give those first rounders should be gold, and we've done all that we can do to kind of make it hard to move those, but guys are still figuring out ways to do it. Free safety out of Butler, Monte Reynolds goes over to the Texans. That's surprising to me because he made a high draft pick last year on a free safety. I know that he definitely likes that back end, but I just said that Outlaw likes the back end, but you know what I mean. He definitely likes to have his back seven play really well. This kid's 6'3", a big kid, 224, 24 years old, which is shocking because he doesn't like 24-year-olds in drafts. Ran a 4.55 40 and did 22 in the bench press. This is a good player. This kid should have a lot of potential, and if he's paired with the other guy that he had last year, whose name I don't remember, but I know is a really, really good player. He could have a dynamic duo.
It's like George or something because he's
Yeah, yeah.
always lobbing
Always talking
lobbing
about
him to be for Pro Bowl. Yeah.
All right, we're going to do the next 2 picks, and then I'm going to let you talk for just a little bit as I pick my players that I'm going to keep my eye on. What do you see the Seahawks going here? I mean, they've went receiver speed. They went linebacker heavy. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another defensive lineman go here. He loves his defensive lineman, and he likes to make those picks.
Yeah, I'm seeing possibly defensive lineman, maybe a safety type, defensive back. I don't know what his safeties look like at the moment, or I know he's got Martin at running back, but I don't know who he has behind him. So we may see someone that he can kind of tote the rock with the backup running back
That's
to
an
Martin
interesting
and
thought. I didn't think he'd go. I also wouldn't be shocked if he went quarterback. I know he's got a ton of quarterbacks, but none of them are young. I think he spent a lot of money on some older guys, and it would not absolutely shock me if he went running back. And just because I'm outside right now, and there's going to be tons of noise, so I apologize for the noise.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, he's going wide receiver heavy. He's trying to find the rest of his guys that he needs. Give me the name again. It's Paul Sims, right?
Paul Sims,
Yeah, Paul
another
Sims, 5'10",
speed guy.
Yeah, 177, 22 years old, deep threat. So he's doing all deep threat. 4.41 speed, 17 on the bench press. He's a really good player. He's a player I had my eye on. Could be a potential like really, really good player for him. Yeah, and we're seeing the Seahawks continue to revamp, retool, whatever word you kind of want to put on it. Um, Man, it's looking really good for him.
Yeah, he's definitely done. I keep forgetting I'm the Chiefs.
Are you up next?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you're up
on the
next. So
board
go
now.
ahead. Yeah, I forgot that you were the Chiefs too. I'll talk about left outside linebacker Connell out of Duke. Let's find Mr. Connor here. All right, Devontae Connor out of Duke, 6'3", 256. Guy had my hat on. Speed rusher, gets off of tackles fairly decent. He's got to work on a little bit with his hands. Ran a 4.72 40, 24 in the bench press. He'll be strong enough. Speed won't blow you away, but he won't be slow by any means. Probably like high 70s, low 80s, somewhere in there. But Denver Broncos starting to retool that defense as they continue to try to get back on track here and get their team figured out. So it'll be the Chiefs up next. We'll let him talk about his pick, and then I'm going to go silent just for a minute as I kind of revamp and look at who I'm going to go for next. The Chiefs had a great season last year. Took over a team that wasn't built for him, made a couple trades that made us all kind of scratch our heads, but still came out on top. And that team has looked really good, and he's just a couple plays away from being in the championship game again. The Chiefs are definitely going to have to be one of those teams that everybody keeps an eye on. And so far, he just needs a couple more players here. So still a lot of good defensive linemen left. Linebackers are starting to fly off the board, so not a ton left in that area.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Let's see who you got, and I'm going to let him talk about it. Mark Marpet, center out of North Carolina State. Talk about your boy.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting him maybe to be a little bit stronger than he is. He's 81 strength. I think he did like 29 on the bench press. So I was kind of expecting a little bit more strength, but 79 run block, 78 pass block, 79 power, run power, block finesse, 75, 81 pass block power, and lead block 77. So not bad. 81 impact block, 72 overall. I know he's a little low, but normal. He'll be a good backup. Maybe I can plug him in possibly in that left guard side there and try to build him up a little bit for the season. 22 years old, so he's got some wiggle room to grow.
All right, I think I got my next guys kind of ready to go, so we'll see what the Jaguars do here. So let's talk about your team for just a second. I mean, you took over a team that wasn't yours, wasn't really built for you, and made a couple of crazy trades that tended to work out for you. You spent some big money rebuilding that offensive line. Why all the focus on offensive line? I mean, you take a center here, you spent big money on a guard. I think you maybe didn't get him. I know that you put like a massive deal, but then I thought I read somewhere that maybe you didn't get him.
Yeah, I was going really heavy for the guard that was really high in free agency and stuff. I feel like right now my team is a lineman, possibly two linemen away from really solidifying the offensive line. I did have a lot of trouble with sacks this last season. I was one of the top teams to give up the most sacks in the league. I do hold on the ball a little bit, but I did get a lot of pressure up the gut, and so I was trying to solidify that portion of my team.
I'm going to let you talk for just a second on this last pick while I make mine.
Yeah, the Jaguars just selected Dante Capel, tight end from Montana. 78 overall. Really good, solid pick there. I wonder what his speed is, but I think he was a blocking tight end, so it'll fit right up Brady's alley there, blocking with his rushing attack that he carries out there in Jacksonville, and that'll play right into his offensive coordination, and he just runs the ball really well there.
All right, I'm going cornerback here. Let me see what it pops up. I'm lagging behind because I'm doing this off my computer. It says I drafted Bennett Herman, cornerback out of Kansas State. Man-to-man, 21 years old, which is what really drew me to him. 72 overall man, 69 slot, 69 zone. Let's see what his rankings look like. Looks like he is quick dev, which is nice. I can
Nice.
like the quick dev. 91 speed, 81 man coverage, like that. 75 zone, not terrible. 61 play rec, that's not great. 57 tackle, not great. 85 acceleration, I don't love that. 84 agility, I like that. So, you know what? I need it to get younger. I don't love the 72 overall, but, you know, he's quick dev. 69 awareness, got to get that up. 57 block shed, got to get that up. I've got some free extra XP points that I'll probably invest into him. 85 injury, don't love that. Love the 95 stamina. But overall, I needed to get younger at the cornerback position. I needed to invest. I haven't invested since we started, so I had to invest some picks here. If you don't mind, go back to the Jaguars pick and give me a couple of these picks for me, if you don't mind.
All right, let me pull up transactions.
So thank you guys again for tuning into the draft show. Sorry we could not do a pre-draft show. I actually hurt myself, and I've been dealing with it all afternoon, and that kept me from getting a draft show up and then normal family stuff. But we're here and we're live, and things are going well. We got this draft show rolling right along. We'll start taking some callers in round 4. You got some transactions for me?
All right, let's see. The Jaguars selected Capel, tight end.
Tight end. Oh, yeah, Deontay Capel. Nice pick for them. Blocking guy, but going to be a blue chipper, 6'4", 260. I like that pick. All right, and that was my pick.
Your pick, and then the Bears just selected Jerron Lauderdale.
What position?
Cornerback, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, he's another guy I have my eye on. 6'1", 22 years old, out of Illinois. Man-to-man guy. Ran a 4.42 40, did 17 in the bench press, 33.9 in the 3-cone. So, pretty good pick there. And you said the Bears picked him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the Bears did miss the end of their last season. I went ahead and took a sim versus him in the playoffs just because I felt bad. I didn't want to play the CPU. But, man, you know what? That's a good team in a division that's always very winnable. Houston Flanders, Mr. Flanders, left guard was that? Yeah, Mr. Houston Flanders, left guard, supposed to go late in the 4th round, but he goes here early in the 2nd. 335, 23 years old, 6'4" power guy out of Maine. Really good run blocker, lead blocker. Did 32 in the bench press, ran a 5.30 40. Good player there for Cincinnati, who the last couple of times it looks like the CPU's been doing some picking for him. So hopefully he's got that draft board set. If not, I do like that pick though.
Yeah, that's a good pick for him. The way he plays, this guy will probably get plenty of XP to be able to position himself to move up and build that player up as the season goes along and go into the next season.
Yep, a team that's explosive, a team that can put up a lot of points very quickly. I think we can skip this one. I know we can skip this one. So let me go ahead and do that. It takes me a second because I'm lagging behind. But a team that can put up a lot of points. And if he can continue to build around those skill positions, he'll be just fine. I'm wearing my OMFL shirt, ready to rock this draft out. Thank you guys again for tuning in. It's 8:43 Central Time, so we're 43 minutes deep, but we're wrapping up the 2nd round here. Titans on the board, Dallas, Falcons, Jets, Seahawks, Packers, and Texans. Terrell Douglas left in goes over to Mo and his Cardinals, a team that really put it all together. Made a deep run last year, and he's restocking with this pick right here. Supposed to go in the middle of the 2nd round, so he gets good value. 6'7". This guy is a monster. 303, 22 years old, out of Northern Illinois, a pass rusher, a guy that's able to get off the blocks pretty fast for a defensive end. Did 26 in the bench press. Just an all-around athlete, and Mo loves his athletes on that team.
Yeah, it's a player that fits well with his scheme, I believe, from what I've seen how he plays, and he'll be a fit right there for the Cards.
Caleb Hayes goes over to Big Herd in his Tennessee Titans, 6'0", 245 out of Baylor, 21 years old, a run stopper. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes out to like rush outside linebacker, maybe defensive end. He only ran a 4.8 40, which would be great for a rush linebacker, but probably tough in coverage. Did 30 in the bench press. He can definitely make that transition in a 3-4. I'm not quite sure what Big Hurt plays over there. I think he's bounced around between a couple of different ones, but really good athlete there for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, the linebacker is somebody that I had pegged on my board also, and I'd probably been better off to take him than the offensive lineman. I'd be curious to see what his attributes are.
Jaden Hawkins goes over. I lost track. Who was this? Who did this go to? The Dallas Cowboys, who's been retooling this entire draft. Out of Tennessee, 6'2", 23 years old. Not a super fast guy, but really good in zone. Would be a good player for a defensive team in the Dallas Cowboys, who already have a lot of good playmakers.
Ooh, we have our first quarterback off the board.
Ellis Floyd for the Falcons. I liked him. He was a guy I had on my board. He ran a 4.45 40 for the already fast Atlanta Falcons. He's got enough cornerbacks to just shut you down and no yards passing. So the Atlanta Falcons continue to retool. And then you're right. We get our first quarterback, Stanley Decker out of Kansas. Quarterback out of Kansas. Let's see what I got on Mr. Stanley. It's shocking that one went this late. A red chipper, 6'5" out of Kansas. Strong arm guy, 230 pounds, so a big boy. Probably not an NFL arm, but enough in like a West Coast type system. Who cares what he ran and all that stuff? He's not slow. He ran a 5.18 40, so he's not super slow. But this was not a very good quarterback draft. There's some potential there, right? You make a flyer pick for a team that was in the AFC Championship that just came up. I'm sorry, in the OMFL Bowl. That's right. Jason made it all the way and just was a few plays short from actually winning that game. It's crazy. He threw a lot of picks with Darnold. Who knows? This is a flyer that could possibly work out for him. You just never know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think he even said in the chat that he'd be interested possibly moving to Darnell. So, maybe this is his pick that say, we're looking towards the future.
And we got too many awards up here. That's what we got. I got too much stuff going on. Let's see if I can move some stuff around so it makes sense. There we go. Now that makes a little bit sense. Mikhail Shaw, strong safety, goes over to the Seattle Seahawks. I see we got him, Mr. Shaw. Would not surprise me if he's got nothing but speed. Let's see. He ran a 4.75 40, so I'm wrong on that. Did 20 in the bench press. Probably a big run support guy. 6'2" out of Virginia, 228, 21 years old. Probably just a big guy. He likes his big guys that he can even move over to linebacker. Now, I know the board hasn't allowed that in a couple seasons, but you never know. This is a guy that if his speed is just too bad, he could move him up. But I also find in this Madden that speed isn't the end-all to be-all. We're at pick number 1 here in the 3rd round, the Green Bay Packers. Then you got the Houston Texans, Los Angeles Rams, Bills, Steelers, Pats, Bucks. So that's your lineup here to start off the 3rd round. But again, I don't think that the speed is not the end-all to be-all for safety position. That big hitting, that playmaking ability is really going to shine through.
Yeah, so far I've seen some guys actually do really well with like an 85 overall speed guy. And just they're obviously they don't play tight with no help over the top zone type coverages most of the time, but they can. I mean, I have seen them be successful with those type of players. So, like you said, it's not just the break all thing.
Bradley McKinney, you know how Priest, there's the word I'm looking for, loves his halfbacks. This guy should have went in the 1st round. He goes early here in the 3rd round. It's a good pick. 6'0", 190, 22 years old, out of Oregon State. Ran a 4.49 40, did 22 in the bench press. So a nice all-around running back. I like that pick for Priest. He's had a pretty good draft. A couple of head scratchers in there, but overall a really good draft for him.
Yeah, the Texans just selected I think the left end Fuller.
Yeah.
76 overall. That was a nice looking pick there, and Then you had the Rams to select the wide receiver Holmes.
All right, let's get Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you what we see on Mr. Holmes. Mr. Tremaine Holmes, 6'1", 210 out of Illinois, possession guy, ran a 4.5, 140, 22 in the bench press. So a big receiver going over to the Rams. As he just tries to figure out, he's a really good player. Just always seems a couple of steps just behind, and it's unfortunate because he is a much better player than what his record tends to show. Houston Folk.
Yeah, he's always played tough. No, I was fixing. Yeah, he's always played tough.
I don't understand this pick, Mr. Hudson Folk, undrafted guy, 6'7", 319 out of Kansas. He's more of a pass protector. Kind of does all the pass protecting pretty well. Did 34 in the bench press, so that's probably why he was drafted here early. The reason I'm a little shocked by that is because the Bills have got this triple option weird offense, and that guy doesn't really fit that. I just missed that Pittsburgh Steelers pick, if you could help me with that one. But defensive tackle Will Malone out of Georgia goes over to the Patriots. What do we have on Mr. Will? Lots of good defensive tackles out of Georgia. A run stopper, 306 pounds. He did 37 on the bench press. A really good player there for the New England Patriots. Joseph Townsend.
Trying to pull up this.
Yeah, I'll let you pull that. Townsend, the Bucks, the second quarterback. He's the only guy that I really liked. So good pick there for the Bucks. He's a strong arm cat out of Boston College. I like that pick.
Okay, who was it that you needed? Steelers, correct?
I think so.
Let's see. It was the Bills, Folk, and then Steelers middle linebacker Deshaun Pilgrim.
Mr. Pilgrim out of Delaware State, 22 years old, 251, 6'3", really good zone coverage guy. Ran a 4.73, so it shouldn't be too terrible. I just don't like the 15 on the bench press. It's going to be a little weak to be able to put him in the middle or even strong side. I'd probably want to put him on the weak side and let him come off the edge there. So that brings us to the Lions. And then we got San Francisco, the Dolphins, Giants, Packers, Cowboys, and Raiders.
Yeah, we're moving right along.
Yeah, we are.
Ninth pick in the third round.
Nick Struvon, I like that pick for the Eagles. Again, they're trying to get some playmakers, and this is a blue chipper guy out of Georgia. Look, none of these tight ends are going to blow you away with speed, but there's some really, really good players there. Stephen Money, you got to love Mr. Money, right guard out of Idaho. Let's see what I got on him. Stefan Money, 6'6", 332, 22 years old out of Idaho, a power guy. He did 31 on the bench press. He's going to be like an impact blocker, a lead blocker, a guy that can get off the line really quick. I really like that pick there for them.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of the linemen coming off the board now. A lot of the interior guys.
It's still a little bit of talent there. James Costa, 6'4", 324 out of Clemson, an agile guy. That's not something I personally like, but you can still get some really good players. I mean, look, you're in the third round. I mean, that guy could probably start for that team with just a little bit of a building. And you got the Miami Dolphins here. This was an interesting team. A guy that so far until last season has been in the playoffs and deep in the playoffs. And then the wheels kind of fell off for him last season for really an unknown reason. His quarterback didn't play as well. The defense didn't play as well. This is a really good team that got some high picks here.
Yeah, and he was one of my preseason picks for a possible Super Bowl appearance. And, you know, I think he said something about put the juju on him, so sorry about that.
I do like that pick, Mr. Eason out of Southern Utah, 250, 6'7", what I would consider a red chipper. He's a possession guy, so he's going to have really great hands, and he ran a 4.86, which isn't terrible. Did 23 in the bench press. A nice all-around athlete there for the Miami Dolphins. He's got the quarterback. I don't know his running back situation all that well, but I know he's rebuilt that offensive line a little bit. He's got the quarterback. He's got some receivers. This kid might be a nice plug-and-play there and give him a receiving threat out of the tight end position.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good fit. I know he's got the Jizzle, I think. I probably said
Jizzle.
it wrong.
I don't think I don't think that's what we're looking for.
Jizzlick or something. I don't know what the guy's name is, but something like that. But anyway, he's been a good pass catcher for him there, and maybe he's bringing this guy in, have a dual threat there at the tight end.
The Giants have had a really good draft, in my opinion, so far as he rebuilds that team on the defensive side. He goes Heath Joseph, left outside linebacker out of Toledo. Probably the best left outside linebacker left. 6'5", 245, 23 years old, a speed rusher. So he comes off the edge really well. A 4.76 40 guy, only 18 on the bench press. But look, you're sticking out on a weak side in a 3-4 or a defensive end in rushing situations. That guy's going to go get you, who knows, 5, 6, 8 sacks as a rookie. I'll take that in the third round.
Yeah, Pepper's just been killing it on draft picks so far. I think he has to be probably winning the draft right now, in my opinion.
The Green Bay Packers are another team that has to be considered now. He has not had the record that any of us thought he would, but it looks like he really focused on getting him some draft picks. He's getting younger. My one concern is his quarterback situation. He gave Rodgers a fat contract that's really going to weigh that team down. Rodgers is like 73, 74 years old, something like that. And he's got the running backs. He's trying to rebuild that offensive line. In this draft, we've seen him invest into the defense. But you got to figure out the quarterback situation. And with Rodgers, he turns the ball over too much. He's got a weighty contract there. Who knows? Maybe the plan is to, void that contract, that bonus to zero, cut him, and go after a quarterback next year. I'm not quite sure, but here again, he invests into the defense. Left in out of Montana State, Lawrence Saxton. Let's see what I got on him.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Mr. Saxton, 6'6", 287, 22 years old, a run stopper, did 24 on the bench press. I don't love that pick. I know he's probably the best available, at least stat-wise. I mean, like projected round-wise, but I think that there were better players out there. And then Dallas comes right behind him very quickly, drafts a halfback, Gordon Horton, out of, where's Mr. Horton at? Mr. Gordon's out of Toledo. A receiving guy, 5'10", 188, did a 4.44 40, read 16 on the bench press. So he's not going to be super strong. It's going to be small, scat back, receiving, a third down guy, right? You bring him in, you run slants and angle routes and maybe a fly route from time to time and get a mismatch.
Horton, here's a who.
Let me know if you see anybody put some photos that you can talk about. Right now we've got the Raiders on the clock, then Browns, Pats, Ravens, Texans, and then Pats again, and then over to the Vikings. Tim's maybe first pick of this draft, not sure.
Well, there is a lot of photos. I haven't actually kept up with them, so I'm just going to try to spit some out in their development. The cornerback that got selected by the Bears, Lauderdale, he is a quick development, 93 speed, 93 acceleration guy, so really good pick there. Let's see, the quarterback, Stanley Decker, that was selected by the Jets.
I'm going to let you do your
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Deshaun Pilgrim, 73 over.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Hey, you there? Mr. Maniac? I think we're having some technical difficulties. Give us just a second. We'll get this figured out and we'll get it caught up.
The Texans are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Test, test. There we go. All right, sorry, I'm back. We don't have Maniac back though. We gotta get that figured out here in just a second. Give me just 1 second. Well, we can get Mr. Maniac back in here and figure out what has happened. I may have to pause on my pick, so I can figure out these technical demons. Mr. Maniac is talking, but I can't hear him. I'm going to jump back in there, see if that fixed the problem. There we go. Mr. Maniac, are you there?
I'm here.
Mr. Maniac, I have not heard you for like the last 5 minutes. Like everything went haywire. I don't know what happened. I figured out why my mic was so low, and when I fixed that, it messed everything else up. But we're fixed. If the league would be so kind, I've been working on technical difficulties. I'm going to pause it on my pick, quickly look at my draft board, which I have no clue what has happened for the past 5 minutes, and then quickly make my pick. So please give me this one little thing. But I do have my TV back here, so I'm able to watch live. So we're just going to pause for a second. Let me get my head on straight. Maniac, everybody can hear you now, so you do the talking.
Well, I don't know if the stream can still hear me. I was doing the Jeopardy song. I guess I'll try to catch up on some of these picks here. We'll pull up the... It was talking about some of the players that were selected that were in in the photos the guys have been sending. I think the last one I talked about was the quarterback that was a star development for the Jets. Stanley Decker. That's a nice little pick. Okay, he's got 86 throw power, but with this Madden, you do get the dice rolls, and that can be increased to 89, possibly a 90 within a couple of seasons. Maybe somebody to put behind Darnold, and or if he didn't want to sign or something like that. Fuller, 76 overall, drafted there by Outlaw there with the Texans. Nice little pick for him. Normal development. Deshaun Pilgrim for the Steelers, 83 speed, 80 acceleration. So nice little pick. Normal dev guy.
All right, I'm back, my friend. I know that you were running through the picks. Can we go back to? Man, I don't even know. I don't even remember where we left off. Everything went haywire. Everything went crazy. Let's go back 10 picks. Can you just go back 10 picks for me? Let's see where we were.
The last one that I remember commenting on was the halfback Horton for the Cowboys. So I said Horton
here's a who. That's right. And then everything went haywire. Everything went crazy after that.
All right. After that, we have the Raiders selecting right end Ashley Smith.
Right end Ashley Smith. Yeah, nice pick. Speed rusher out of UCLA. I like that pick for them.
All right. The Browns selected halfback Con Palmer.
So he's going halfback heavy, which is a little interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Out of Texas A&M. All right, next one.
Patriots selected cornerback Laurel Todd.
Nice pick out of Kentucky, 6'1" guy, more of a zone player. All right.
Yeah. Ravens drafted defensive tackle Griffin Thomas. He was on my.
Yeah, I like him a lot. That's a nice pick there out of Idaho. There we go. State.
You had the same problem I did earlier. Texans drafted center Jordan Horan.
Yeah, probably the best leftover center, but I don't like any of the centers this draft. It's always been a weak center draft. All right, next one.
Patriots draft left end Terrell Bracken.
Let's see where you at, Mr. Bracken. Left end, right?
Yes.
There he is. I like that one. Who took him? 6'4", 301 out of Indiana State.
Pats.
Yeah, nice pick for the Patriots. All right, next one.
The Vikings selected defensive tackle Griffin Raymond.
I really like that pick. That was a guy that I wanted to look at, but he was already gone. All right, next pick.
And Chiefs selected right in Devin Justin.
Yeah, nice pick for you. Let's go back and we'll let you talk about him after we catch up.
All right. Jaguars drafted wide receiver Moses Jordan.
Oh, that's tight end. That's why I'm not going to find him there. Moses Jordan. Yeah, 6'4", 220 out of Duke, possession guy. All right, next pick. I think that was mine.
Yeah, I think that was yours, and then it went. I need to update here. Let me go back in.
I love that a guy named Ego just got drafted to the Cincinnati Bengals. Ego Dyer.
This is taking a second for this transaction log to load.
I'll talk about my cornerback. I like the pick. Again, I'm getting younger at cornerback. I have to. I need to cut some salaries there this season. And I got two quick DF guys in the second and third round. And I'll take that any day of the week. They're not finished material. They've got decent enough speed, suck on the acceleration. But I like my man coverage guys, and they both have low 80s man coverage, both quick dev. And so there's definitely some potential in both of those guys.
Yeah, that's a good pick for you. The Bears drafted right guard Wes McKenzie after you.
All right, got him.
and then of course the Bengals drafted cornerback Ego Dyer.
All right, that's where we are. We're here at Mo's pick. Let me go ahead and get us a little bit past Mo because I know Mo's not here, but I was taking the time to go ahead and catch us up. Talk about your pick.
Yeah, let me go back and pull him up. Yeah, it was a really good pick. I really liked what I saw there. There was a couple of guys I was kind of torn between. In fact, he was one guy that I'd pegged when I made my first pick because I just liked his tangibles, but he was still sitting there with the third round. So he was 75 overall. He's got 81 strength, 79 run block. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm pulled up the wrong guy.
It's like a defensive end's run blocking.
71 power move, 82 finesse, 82 speed, 86 acceleration, 76 tackle, 75 block shed, 83 agility. So he's got a lot of good movement. As somebody, if I stay in the 3-4, I could probably move out to that the 34 outside linebacker possibly to rush off the edge, or I could keep him where he's at because he does have still a pretty good size to him, or bring him in on passing downs to be that specialist for speed rusher. But he is 21. He is normal dev. That's the only kick on him. But he was 52 in true talent. So.
All right, we're at pick 29 already here in the third round. Then you got the Falcons, the Jets, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Texans, the Rams, and the Falcons again. The Falcons really loaded up here on picks. Fisher Wiggins, right guard out of Wisconsin. He goes over to the Baltimore Ravens. He's probably the best overall guard that's left. Supposed to go in the first round, but didn't grade out very well at the combine. He only did 30 in the bench press. More of a pass protector. And at left tackle, that's not a bad thing. I know that the Ravens are a running team, and that's not going to be a great thing either, but not a terrible pick there for the Baltimore Ravens, who I think are still draft board CPU picking. And again, it's a little mind-blowing to me, though, how all of these picks kind of have happened for the Falcons. Like, I just don't understand how so many guys gave a team that was undefeated last year and only lost in the NFC Championship game. How do you continue to give him picks? It's a little mind-boggling to me.
Well, he does. I know what it is, and I kind of fall into the same trap. You see these guys be very successful with that roster. And then when they start throwing these guys out there to the trade block, you start licking your chops like, oh, I seen what this guy did with this player on the field. Maybe I can kind of have the same success. And you're like, well, this is pretty much a sure thing rather than maybe missing on a pick. You get the sure thing, but it definitely is something that guys like myself have had a hard time not wanting to pull that trigger, because you see the potential and what they did for the other team, and you think right off the bat you're going to get the same production from that player, and lo and behold, you kind of wake up from the dream after the end of the season, and it didn't work out that way. So
Reggie Carpenter, I missed the pick before here. I don't know if you can help me with that, but Reggie Carpenter goes over to the Jets. 233 for a linebacker, 23 years old, 6 foot tall. Let's see. Reggie's a pass coverage guy out of Texas A&M. Ran a 4.75 40 17 in the bench press. So the Jets are trying to infuse some youth there to that defense. And here we go with another halfback over to the Seattle Seahawks. You called this one a little earlier. I like this halfback, Darby Morton. 4th round grade on him. He goes here early in the 4th round, or no, late in the 3rd round. 5'11", 198 out of North Carolina, and elusive back. 4'5", 40, only 11 in the bench press. So he continues to retool, and you called this one that he was going to go after a running back before this draft was over.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I think he even called the running back by name.
Who did I miss before the Jets pick? There was somebody that went really fast.
Let's see. We had the Ravens, Wiggins, Falcons, free safety, Fisher.
I got him, but right after that pick.
and then it was the Jets' Reggie Carpenter.
And Carpenter was an outside linebacker, right?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I missed one in between. Who was before the Falcons?
Let's see. We had going back down the other way. We had the Titans select cornerback Douglas Swinton.
All right, I think I got him. Okay, so we're all caught up. So here we are in the 4th round, pick number 1 with the Green Bay Packers. You got the Texans, the Rams, the Falcons. Oh, God, him in that number 4 pick. The Steelers, the Pats, the Seahawks, and the Eagles. And we're on the home stretch here, right? Like now you're starting to like take flyers on players. You're scrambling. You're maybe looking for a guy that, maybe just has like speed or something like that you can build off of. So here's where you're going to start to see a lot of flyers, especially in the skilled positions go.
Yeah, this is where I'd like to have. I was trying to get some of these late round picks, trying to trade some guys away, and I couldn't get it.
I couldn't either.
So, but yeah, I'm with you on that. This 4th round is the round that you just start taking, chances on some guys that had some pretty good combine numbers, and maybe kind of fell through the cracks from the first 3 rounds, and you just take a chance on them, hoping that you find one that's a really great player underneath, or has a good development that maybe a weaker, lower rated guy, but within a couple seasons you can have him built up.
You got the Atlanta Falcons here at pick number 4 in the 4th round. The Steelers, the Pats, the Seahawks, Eagles, Lions, Bengals. My next pick isn't until late here in the 4th round. I think overall, you still got some defensive linemen that can play, especially defensive tackles. I think still plenty of good defensive tackles. Not a ton left on linebacker. I think you're going to get some good players. You're just going to lack speed. Lots of speed is gone. I still think there's some cornerbacks with potential. There's like some super late guys that maybe still have some speed that would impress a few fellas. Safety still got some good players, man. Safety, I think, is probably one of the top positions. The couple positions that I find interesting, again, it's early, but kicker and punter. There's some really good players at kicker and punter that haven't been touched at all, and there's some teams that, in my opinion, you could save money by cutting an expensive kicker or punter and then signing one in as a rookie and really building him up pretty quickly. So there's definitely some opportunities there. Derek DeKendrick, Revis, goes to Atlanta Falcons, 6'3", 300 pounds out of USC. Power rusher, did a 5.02 40 and 29 in the bench press. Super athletic freak for a team who already has a defense full of freaks. And his cornerbacks are so good that it causes issues for the quarterback because there's no one to pass to. The defensive line gets there, and he's a tough team to play against.
Yeah, those cornerbacks will jam receivers. Because I was over there with you guys there for 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. There in the South, and those cornerbacks will jam every receiver you got. No matter what kind of ratings they got, they'll jam them up. They'll ride their coattail all the way down the field. And you're sitting there waiting and hoping that they'll get away just a slight moment that you can throw the ball. And just at the moment you think you might have an opportunity, you're getting smacked in the face and taking a loss for 8 to 10 yards. It's very frustrating, to say the least.
Yeah. I think there's still a lot of offensive players that are really good. Some potential right tackles that are out there. I love the tight ends. I think that there's a couple of good receivers, and fullback is loaded. Like, you can get a good fullback. I just missed that Pittsburgh Steelers pick. I don't know if you can help me with that one.
It was an actual tight end. I thought that was kind of ironic that you brought the tight end up.
Yeah, which one was he? I missed him.
Let's see. Mason Anderson.
Oh, I like that one a lot. 6'7", 248 out of Pitt, 23 years old, a really good pass catching guy. Ran a 4.8 140 and did 23 in the bench press. I like that pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who found their quarterback. I mean, he found a quarterback that can really play in this league. Won Rookie of the Year, almost won Offensive Player of the Year. I like that pick, and there's your first fullback off the board too, to the Seattle Seahawks.
And if this doesn't make you any more sick, the defensive tackle that the Falcons picked there in the 4th round is a star development guy.
Yeah, it is what it is, right? I don't know what's going to take for this league to learn that you don't give guys who go undefeated any more ammo. You just don't, and they did that. People did that. DeMonte Murdoch, who was the 4th pick anyway?
Let me pull it back up. Sorry.
The 4th pick was Atlanta this time, but like, who owned the 4th pick? Anybody know?
Man.
Is that the Rams?
I believe it was the Rams.
Yeah, you're fired. DeMonte Murdoch goes over to the Eagles. I love what the Eagles have done here. Out of Miami, 287, 6'4", a power rusher guy, did 32 in the bench press. I love what the Eagles have done this draft.
Yeah, the Eagles have silently kind of been kind of behind the scenes, just making these really solid picks. That are really helping their team. They're not getting the flashy guys or anything like that, but they're getting really good guys that can contribute to their team right away. And I'm interested to see what he does this season.
I mentioned the fullbacks, and here they go. Malcolm Whalen over to the Detroit Lions. Love this pick for them. 238, 6'1", a team that's built around running the rock, and he gets a guy that's going to open some massive holes. 21 years old, a utility guy. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. Ran a 4.8 240 and did 24 in the bench press. Nice pick there for them.
Yeah, double and all is having a pretty solid draft too. But we're actually having an impact on the draft here, because I think these guys are listening to us talk about what positions are still loaded, and lo and behold, here comes a couple off the board right after you talk about that. So,
do you have your draft board up?
Let's see.
I just wanted to throw this out there. Who's kind of your best player? Name somebody. Who's your best player available so far?
For me personally, or
not just anybody. Like, who do you think is the best rated player that's left in this draft right now?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Adrian Barnes is going to be the top overall player still on my draft board, and probably
who is he?
Draft. Defensive tackle, Aldrin Barnes.
Oh yeah, Aldrin Barnes. Yep, I was going to go defensive tackle as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of the top rated overalls left in this board right now. So
yeah, 6'7", 301 out of Illinois State, a run stopper, just a monster of a man. And I was torn between him and Nate Branch. I think both of them. And there goes Aldrin right there to the Chargers and Bill. So Aldrin out of Illinois State goes over there. If he posts a photo of him, let's see what that guy looked like.
He's 73 overall. So I don't know the overalls left yet on what was left on the boards, but
that's not bad here for
almost
halfway through the 4th round.
Yeah, that's a solid pick. And of course, this is against me in my division here, and of course, I kind of had the resurgence with my running attack this last season, bringing over Henry, and just really bruising up the gut. And here now I got to face Barnes now with.
So I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I hope you don't hate me for this, but let's talk about the Washington Redskins. And look, there's the second guy that I said, so I was hoping they'd fall. I shouldn't have talked about him. 6'5", 304 out of Minnesota, run stopper. He's going over to the Washington Redskins. I love that guy too. He was a 74 overall, so a little bit better than the guy that you thought was the best player overall. So I win. Just kidding. Really good player. But let's talk about the Washington Redskins. Of course, course, our really good buddy, Mr. Dawson, decided to retire. We do hope he comes back one day, because I'm sure he's got to retire 3 or 4 more times before he actually calls it quits. But he leaves behind a pretty good team. But I know that you had, a little rough go at it with Mr. Denbrew and OMFL 2 as far as an FPR type game. But this team has some potential talent. It's got some holes, but I think that he's quietly filled some of those holes in this draft. Like, what are your overall thoughts about the Washington Redskins?
Well, I do know that he picked up a different quarterback. I think he let Cam Newton go, or maybe Cam's still on the team. If he gets the players that fit his style and stuff, he's going to be a really hard out. Because he just plays really – he's not like overpowering on offense, but he's just really – he's a defensive guru. He'd be a defensive guru, I think, in this league and in other leagues, because he just really knows how to get players in certain positions that just makes them seem like they maybe over-successful in some instances. But he's just – I would think he's going to be a defensive guy that he'll play – an ugly game, and maybe that fits in kind of with that division. I know Massimo's kind of had the run at it for however long this cycle and stuff, and it'll be interesting to see how he mans up against the rest of those guys there with Pepper and Massimo and Savante.
Ryan Cooch, the Coochmeister, goes over to the Denver Broncos, fullback out of Florida. He ran a 4.87 40, 22 in the bench press. A really talented guy, 5'10", 257. So a little bit of a bowling ball going over there to Denver. You got to be impressed with what Denver's done. I mean, it's been a good draft for them. I like the spots that they've kind of filled, and just overall, I think he's done really well. Let me do this too. Let me just kind of throw out there that if you want to go ahead and be on the draft show and let us interview you, please go ahead and let Maniac know. We'll let Maniac decide who gets to go win, and I'll unmute you, or we'll unmute yourself if you're not muted, and we'll bring you in to do a little interview to talk about your team last season, to talk about your team this season, your draft, and just overall what you're thinking.
Yeah, send me a PM, because just in case I miss your in the main chat, because sometimes the chat just goes really fast, and I'm also paying attention to draft boards and different things.
Jesus has risen. Jesus Blackstock goes over to the New England Patriots, left in out of UAB, 75 overall. So really good pick here in the 4th round for them.
There's a kicker.
You know what? I got to be honest. I did get a PM. I try not to look at my PMs, but I did get a PM, and the header just said, "Shut up." And below that, it said, "Shut up about the kickers and the punters." And that came from Minnesota. He wanted me to keep my lips as locked as his kicker, Mr. Ricky Locke, out of Rhode Island, goes over to the Minnesota Vikings. And this is one of my strategies, as I always get rid of my kicker and punter, even though this year I did sign my kicker to a big contract, and go draft me some rookies, either punter or kicker, and then move them where I want them, because the contracts are just so good. But, I have to rethink that strategy a little bit, because you've left him off the Pro Bowl vote 2 years in a row, even though he's been top 5 every year in kicks inside the 20 and net average.
I really hate it. You put me on the spot. I really hate it. Oh, here comes the punter off the board. They're
going to start going away for the Eagles too. I don't like that pick. I think there was a better player. I like Trey Hayward as the punter a little bit better, but I also like Stocks and Aldridge as the kickers. And again, you just kind of move them wherever you want them. Doesn't really matter. Your pick's coming up here in 2 picks, so you need to go concentrate. When you come back, talk about your pick, and I'm going to be silent as I look at my picks. But we got the Chicago Bears here, Seattle Seahawks, Kansas City Chiefs, the Jaguars, the Saints, Bears, and 49ers. I'm going to take a little sip of water here, as it's been a long draft show. But thank you guys for tuning in. Not much talk in the YouTube chat. D. Wayne's talking to himself over there. I guess he's at work. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to be on the draft show, if you want us to interview you, please let Maniac know. After we get our picks here and the next couple picks done, we'll bring on our first guest. And we've had a lot of smack talk that has been on this draft show the last couple of years. So come on, talk smack, talk about your team, tell us what you will or won't do. It should be an exciting time. Chicago Bears are up. Pretty sure he told me I could skip him, but honestly, I forgot. So I apologize for not skipping the Chicago Bears here. But right tackle Nolan Cutiera out of Connecticut. Let me see what I got on him. I like him. Nolan Cutiera, 6'8", 325 out of Connecticut. Did 34 in the bench press, ran a 5.14 40. So an athletic guy, but did really, really well with the bench press, and that's going to always benefit. Now, it'll be interesting to see what Seattle's done here. He's went speed heavy. He's went halfback. He's built the defense. He's kind of been all over the place, but I expect him personally to go speed. It just wouldn't surprise me if he went speed, just because, look, he's got the team, right? And he's just looking for guys that can be weapons that he can bring in specific downs. And it wouldn't shock me to see what he goes. Oh, he goes punter. I guess I can admit I'm shocked. I didn't expect to see him go punter. He must be listening to the draft show. He's going to save him some money here. Let me see what I can get on this punter here. Mr. Kine, another guy. I don't like that pick either. I think there were better picks. But Mr. Kine, 6'2", 203 out of Arkansas State. Nothing good comes out of Arkansas that's not named Dwayne. Who cares what his stats are, but he's got like a B+ kicking power. Pretty accurate guy there. So, yeah, I mean, look, you're late in the fourth round. Who cares what you're picking? You're taking flyers. You're taking opportunities. Maniac's another team. I know he's here on the draft show, so we try not to talk about our own draft picks all that much, but a solid draft. He's been intentional about his picks, and I think he's started to fill himself with some talent for a team that's going to be known to play great defense, force you into some bad throws. A little up and down with the quarterback play, but he's got a great quarterback, and then a really good running game. That's kind of his motto, and so it looks like his defensive tackles were taken, but he goes defensive tackle anyway. So I'm going to let you do some talking. I'm going to go look and see what I'm going to do.
All right. This guy's a little bit lower than what I was anticipating, looking at his skill set coming in, but 78 strength, a little weak, 73 block shed, 78 finesse, 78 tackle. So he's got a good tackle, 76 speed, 80 acceleration. So a defensive tackle guy, he'll be somebody that can plug in on passing downs, come in and rush the passer from the defensive tackle spot. He is actually a normal development, but he is 21 years old. So he has some room to improve. We'll just have to work on that position a little bit more. But overall, a good guy. He's actually got 95 stamina, 77 hit power. So somebody that can bring the pain there inside. But it is definitely not the defensive tackle that I would have taken. But it definitely he will fit within my scheme.
I went with Donovan Gator, a guy that I had potential for, but I struck out. 64 overall, slot guy, 6 foot, 181, out of Richmond, a slot guy. 91 speed, 92 acceleration, 71 catch. That's kind of low. 75 catch in traffic. I do like that. 74 short route running. I like that. Everything else is blah. 78 ball carrier vision is not too bad once he gets the ball in his hands. What's his run block? I always like guys that can run block. 45, so that's not great. He's actually 59 pass block, so I might move him to tight end. Who knows what I'm going to do? I can't do that. But you know what? Take a flyer. I had an extra pick here in the fourth round. If you don't mind, can you go the pick after you? What happened after the pick after you?
I think it's kind of funny, too, because I had my finger on the button to pick the wide receiver, and I was like, I talked myself out of it.
Which receiver?
The one that you just
really
drafted, Gator.
That's funny. Yeah, he's a guy that kind of reminded me of Fitzgerald, who has blossomed into my number one receiver, who was never supposed to be. He's supposed to just be a slot guy, and he's really blossomed for me. And this guy kind of reminded me of him. His stats are not that great. He definitely is going to need some work.
All right, I'm having to load back in because
the Bears just took the guy that I had hoped for. Joshua Moody, 6 foot 228 out of Purdue. Ran a 4.58 40 20 in the bench press as a strong safety. I had my eye on that kid. I think he's got some potential. I love what the Bears have done here. We got Cooley and his 49ers, then the Ravens, Titans, and Saints again.
All right, I'm trying to get back into the draft, and it's not letting me do it, so I may have to close my app out.
Oh, that's not fun.
At least it did it before
your pick. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Darrell Hutton goes to the San Francisco 49ers, 6'2", 221, 22 years old, out of Purdue. Ran a 4.59 40, 23 in the bench press. Athletic freak. I love that pick for San Francisco. I use my safeties, and so I think that's a really good pick for him.
Yeah, we got Mr. Cooley and also Tim saying that they would probably come on.
Awesome. As soon as I do my next pick, we'll bring on Cooley, who I hate talking to, and I just hate generally as a human. I don't really hate him. I just was hoping he was listening. We play PUBG together a whole lot, and though he is a jerk of a person, I just kind of put up with him. We got the Ravens. Oh, we can skip him. That's right. So let me go ahead and skip him. Left tackle Sheed. See what I got on Mr. Sheed, and then I got to figure out what I'm doing. 318, 6'6", 23 years old, out of Northern Illinois. More of a pass protector. Did 32 in the bench press. So not a bad pick there for them. We're getting here late in the fourth quarter. Your app, were you able to get your app back up?
Yes.
Don't give me the pick yet. I'm just gonna let you talk about the Texans or the Titans. I'm gonna look at my draft board real quick, and then we'll catch up.
Okay. Yeah, the Titans have had a pretty good draft so far. Big Hurt is actually really. I don't know if that team was just really built to kind of fit his style already. I know he did make a few kind of tweaks here and there and stuff, but. He has definitely done a good job, and from what I can see, he's had a decent draft. So he'll be on the clock actually right now, and we'll see what kind of pick that he brings up here as soon as he selects his pick. So far, I think really, truly, honestly, there has been 2 or 3 teams that have had solid drafts. I think the Vikings, for only having, I think, a 3rd round and a 4th round, he's actually made 2 back-to-back really solid picks. And then, of course, you got the Eagles that have done a good job, I think, as well, building with guys that really kind of fit their scheme. And then, of course, you got Pepper and the Giants. You know, he's made a really good pick with the safety. I think superstar development safety there in the first round. Maybe it's been his 2nd pick in the 1st round. But he's really done a nice job. And then we see that the Titans selected left end from Arkansas. Dwayne's doing backflips right now. Kona Willie. Kona Willie. Now that's the name, Kona Willie. That sounds like an Arkansas name right there. Kona Willie. But he's a left end, 71 overall. He was actually on my board as well. I passed him up earlier to take the tackle. So it looks like kind of a similar style overall, possibly.
All right, I'm going to go with free safety Nate Saunders. It says I got him at 125. He's a 106, so it told me it was good. A normal dev, but 72 overall here late in the 4th quarter. Let's see what his stats are. 83 speed. Don't love it. Not the worst thing in the world for a safety. 87 acceleration. 78 man, though. 73 zone. 74 tackle. It's okay. Let's see what his hit power is. Where's hit power? 64. So that's not all that great. So, yeah, I mean, look, late here. Taking a flyer. Want to see what that was all about. So if you don't mind, help me do some catching up here. It was the pick after me. Go start not this latest pick, but the pick after that.
See.
So it was your pick, then somebody else, and then mine. What was after that? Because that's where I started missing.
All right.
We'll catch up, and then we'll bring on some guests.
Actually, in between there, it was the Jaguars with the free safety Rayshawn Strickland.
Yep, I got him.
And then your Gator.
Yep.
Bears strong safety Joseph.
Yep, I got
Moody.
him. Yep.
Daryl Hutton, strong safety for the 49ers.
Okay, got him.
Left tackle Christoph Sheed for the Ravens.
All right, got him.
And then, of course, left end from Arkansas, Kona Willie.
I like him. I actually had him on my board, but he went off on this pick.
And then of course, then your free safety Nate Saunders, and then tight end to Marcus Beatty.
To Marcus Beatty. There we go. And then the guy that just went right now, right? The receiver, Adam Fournette.
78 overall guy there, coming out in the 4th round. Yeah, I kind of, whenever I made the prediction earlier about the highest overall guy and stuff, I kind of forgot about some of those wide receivers that were still on the board there, those possession guys, because I know a lot of guys tend to kind of overlook those slower wide receivers and stuff, but I've had some be pretty successful, and you wouldn't even think it, but in the slot, because they match up against sometimes linebackers or the other team's 3rd or 4th overall cornerback and stuff. So sometimes those guys can be a good chain mover.
All right, Mr. Cooley, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let's bring Mr. Cooley, our owner of the San Francisco 49ers. He's also an owner in the TFL, and he's kind enough to make us his second league. Mr. Cooley, how you doing here on a Thursday night, my buddy? Are you itching from no PUBG?
No, I'm good, man, I think. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, my friend. Well, talk about your team, the San Francisco 49ers. You go over there, a team that was really built to fit Big Hurt and the team that he had. What was kind of your thoughts when you took the team over?
Well, they had good receivers. I mean, the offense was in pretty good shape. Defense was a 4 defense. That's not really what I play. So I just switched it, but it wasn't bad of a transition. So I'm trying to work a little bit with that. But, you know, I mean, it's good enough where I can compete. I just lost here.
Now, you had like an up and down season a little bit last year. So speak to that. Was it just because the team wasn't built for you? Was it the adjustment of just coming over to the OMFL and kind of the game style? Like overall, what was last year like for you?
I'd say it's probably a little bit of both. You know, I haven't played most guys ever. You know, the team wasn't necessarily how I would build it. Not your own, so you don't really know these guys very well. So there were players that I don't really know what they're best at. You know, start off, and then at the end, I was gone for a couple of games to the SEC tournament. I lost 2 games where I had the ball inside the yard line on the last play. Didn't score a touchdown, so I lost. If I'd have scored a touchdown, I'd have won. So I was a lot closer to making the playoffs than it looked. But it was a fun first season.
So what were your goals as you went into the off season? I don't know the cap situation. I don't know the re-sign situation. What were kind of some of your goals as you moved into re-signs and free agency?
Had a tough cap situation. I didn't have much money for any free agents. I picked up just a couple of depth cornerback. I didn't have hardly at all. So, and I lost Joe Mixon. So I tried to. That's why I went with the halfback in first round. Pretty pleased with him, although he's a power back, and that's not necessarily where I maybe my strong point, but I have to make it that.
Well, what were your goals going into the draft? What were your kind of some of the big things that you wanted to make sure you left this draft with? And are you happy with how things have come out so far?
So far, pretty good. I wanted that halfback first pick, so I got one of the guys I wanted. The guy I got was probably second on my board. Pretty happy with him. And then I didn't have a second round pick or like maybe a sixth round pick, and my fourth round pick was a lot later. It must have gotten traded too. So I just wanted to make sure I got depth at linebacker, free safety. I'm really drafting needs instead of best overall. I didn't really get to scout the way that I normally do, so I'm just trying to kind of make it through this first draft, build from here, kind of see how you guys do everything, how these drafts run, and go from there. So far, pretty pleased with it. It's not the best draft, but it's been a solid draft. What I needed to get my team in a place to fill the holes I needed without having.
Mr. Maniac, what do you got for our buddy Cooley?
Cooley G, man, what's going on?
What's up, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing well. My question to you is, what do you feel about the competition there in the NFC West?
Well, I guess I've got two Mo's, right? So they're pretty good. I mean, Seattle's tough. And I think I lost to Arizona on the last second. But he was one of those. I think I lost the game too on the last play. I may have been on the yard line. Stopped me on the last play of the game. Tried to run. So, those guys are good. I think I can compete with them, but who knows? I'm not much of a trash talker unless I'm Nate on, unless I'm shooting him. But those guys are good. I've got to kind of my way here, and hopefully hopefully I can give them a run for a division, or at least a playoff spot, maybe a wild card spot.
Hey, you got to start somewhere, right? So I know I've watched a couple of your games and stuff, and you really have a good game plan. So best of luck to you, man.
Two closing things from me, Mr. Cooley. Number one, what do we expect from the San Francisco 49ers in season 84?
Super Bowl champ.
You got to start somewhere, right? Let's just go ahead and aim for the top prize.
No, our goal is to try to slip in as a wild card team. Just improve on what we did last year. My receivers have regressed a bit. Some of my incentives are going to help, hopefully, with that. But they're still good, but they're just getting old. So we've got 1 or 2 seasons to kind of see if we can make a playoff run.
I love when guys say, Super Bowl, that's what I expect you to say because we're competitors and we want to compete. But then there's that long pause where they don't say anything else. It's like, oh, wait, that's the real answer. Okay. Cooley, last thing for me, you're part of the TFL. You're part of that leadership. You guys have been over here for a little bit, have been a great addition. I know Bloop is itching to get his opportunity for the OMFL and come hang out with us and make us a second league. We don't do that a whole lot, but you guys have been around and part of the community so much that you guys have been great second league people. But, you just mentioned something, and I definitely don't want you to compare the two at all because that's not what we do. But you did say that this was your first chance here in the OMFL. What are your thoughts overall? Oh, it's your pick, too.
I'm picking.
Let's let you go ahead and make your pick. And while he's kind of looking at...
You're good. I don't have a whole lot of people scouted.
Well, tell us what have your thoughts? First season, first off season, first draft here in the OMFL. What's your thoughts about things?
I'm really enjoying it. I wanted a second league last year when TFL kind of shut down a little bit early. We were going through transitions, and I was still wanting to play Madden. Found OMFL too. I enjoyed that. I got lucky when Dwayne went on vacation, and I was able to win a Super Bowl there. Uh, I got to play his CPU. I could never beat him. So he that helped out, and then it was just I was excited to join OMFL. Uh, I love it. I mean, I love TFL. It's a little bit different because we don't switch
Right.
over at all over there. Has different. It's just fun to kind of do different
Yeah.
things because you guys have these incentives and you have different rules on free agencies than we have. So it's good to see how other places run. And I mean, TFL, taking some of you guys' ideas and trying to incorporate them in maybe a different, just to not necessarily stealing them, but maybe using taking your ideas and modifying fit to fit our league. And so I enjoy playing in both of them. They're definitely different. They're fun guys in the league that are competitive, and it's fun to play different styles.
Well, there's definitely nothing to steal. Everything we have belongs to you guys. You're more than welcome to use anything that we do. We do not have handcuffs on good ideas, and so we love to share and share best practices. We also love, before we let you go, live draft picks. You just took a tight end. Talk about your tight end that you just took.
Well, it says good pick, ranked 100 overall. I got him 38. Quick development. So nice. He's kind of slow with 74, but it looks like he would be got pretty good catch of traffic and short route running. So maybe I can use him on some, maybe he'll be a Jason Witten third down pass catcher. Doesn't look like he's a great blocker, but I kind of needed a third tight end. Third tight end now is probably a 65. He's a practice squad player that was signed on, so I just needed a little bit more depth there. He'll work out fine. So not happy with that pick. I've got 4 decent players so far, 1 good player, and three guys that will certainly good depth.
Well, Mr. Cooley, thanks so much for being on with us tonight. Let's go shoot some people tomorrow night in some PUBG.
Oh, Kentucky plays tomorrow night.
Oh, that's right. LSU plays tomorrow night as well, so I guess I accidentally won't be on either.
So thank you guys for having me. Forward to the next season, and go Cats.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Cooley. Have a good night. Good luck to you this season.
Later, bud.
There you have it, Mr. Cooley with the San Francisco 49ers. It's been great to have him as a part of the group. The TFL, like a lot of the leagues that we've added here, are just good people. And you can never have too many really good people. I'm trying to find Mr. Nick, the cornerback who just went out of Miami. Nick, where you at?
Nick Finley?
Yeah, I can't find him. I don't know why. Oh, here he is. Okay. Anyway, it's great to have Cooley here, and again, we don't do many guys who were their second league, but these guys have been a really great addition, and because of the way they take breaks and things, I think it's gonna work out just fine. So Cooley's a great dude, plays in our PUBG. He's really like one of the core members of our PUBG group that plays. So it's been a lot of fun.
Can I say this? It may be a second league, but there is some owners that should be ashamed of themselves, because some of these guys have put in a lot more effort and enjoying the things that we offer than what some of the owners have that's been here for a while. So
no, I can't argue that.
Kudos to him and that league and those guys, because I've spoken to them on the chat and stuff, and they're all cool guys, and I'm glad they're here to bring another part to our community. It's awesome.
No, I agree with you. It's been good to have those dudes. Let's see, it's my pick that's coming up here pretty soon. So why don't we bring on another guest real quick? Who is up next?
All right, let me see if I can. Tim had said something earlier.
Yeah, it'd be great to have Tim, guy who told me to shut up. I can interview him while shutting up. My wife is going to kill me. I know she's going to wake up here soon. I got to stop being so loud. Cole Schlesinger, quarterback out of Texas goes over to the Baltimore Ravens. Field general guy, pretty decent arm, 6'6", 230. So I know it's probably the CPU picking for him right now.
All right, Tim just gave a thumbs up on the chat. So.
All right, Mr. Tim, go ahead and unmute yourself, my friend. He's probably figuring out how to unmute himself. I don't know if you're on a phone or not. I'm never. Oh, there he goes. He's unmuted. Oh. And there we have it, Mr. Tim used to be the Tennessee Titans. It's now the Minnesota Vikings. Mr. Tim, how you doing here on a Thursday, my buddy?
I'm doing good. I appreciate the show you guys do. All the people on the board, you guys do a phenomenal job. Everybody in the league makes the league worthwhile.
Oh, man, you're a big part of that. So let's talk about your Minnesota Vikings. You had the opportunity to leave the Tennessee Titans, who you had built into a powerhouse. What was it like taking over the Minnesota Vikings, and what were your thoughts as you took control?
Very humbling. I went from explosive offense to receivers that couldn't catch the ball, the routes not running the way that the play was designed. I think I went through every receiver on my team. A lot of the players are not on the team no more. I got my roster down all the way to 40 guys. I added 17 guys in free agents.
That's a lot
of guys.
It's
really difficult to bring in your system. Well, especially when you take over a team that's not in your system. And I've even private messaged Duvall to say, "What did you do?" And he would tell me, hints like, "This guy's good. This guy's good." In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, "That guy's terrible. What did you see?" So it's amazing how what one person's treasure is another one's garbage.
Well, what were your kind of goals as you went into the off season? What were the things that you were looking to try to achieve?
Well, I sort of tipped my hand last season when I tried to trade for DJ Moore. Obviously, I felt I needed a big playmaker at wide receiver. I needed to move Diggs. I had some success with him when I moved him to the second wide receiver 2 slot. So I'm like, I got to keep him in 2. I got to figure out how to get another playmaker. And then Odell Beckham Jr. became available, and I'm like, I got to make this move. This move is going to help everybody in the offense.
Well, what about the draft? I mean, did you have a lot of picks? Did Duvall move some picks? What were you able to do in the draft, and what were you looking to come out of, and what do you think about your draft?
Well, I didn't have a second pick. I traded my first-round pick, and then the weaknesses I felt were I needed playmakers on offense. I needed defensive tackles, especially people that can stop the run. And then my secondary was horrible. My safeties might as well have been pylons all year. So I got to get rid of them. I think I only kept 2 defensive backs of my team. I went after a bunch of veteran defensive backs, got new safeties. I traded my 3rd-round pick to get Danny Shelton from the Patriots, a big, solid run stopper, which I think is going to work nicely with my defensive ends, which I think are some of the best in the league, Hunter and Lawson. I went after a defensive tackle in the 3rd round because I had veteran defensive tackles. I need somebody that can sort of groom.
Maniac, you're up, just to give you a heads up. I'm sorry about that, Tim. Go ahead.
I needed somebody to groom, not necessarily take over this year, but maybe next year on the lineup. And then I originally planned entering the draft in the 4th round to take a kicker. And, of course, you mentioned, hey, everybody might start looking at kickers. And I'm thinking, shut up. Don't say this yet. My 17th pick is like 20 picks away.
So what do we think? Are we happy with the kicker?
Absolutely. The 96 power.
Yeah.
I had kickers that were way too expensive. And like you said, you could save a lot of money, and I was moving money, cutting players. I got rid of a lot of players that had expensive contracts, and one of them was a kicker, and I'm like, I'm not going to re-sign him. I'm just going to cut him. I'm not going to go after him, and I want to get a kicker in the draft. And I got a 96 kicking power, 88 kicking accuracy, which I'm pleased with. He's exactly what I need. And now the rest of my picks are just depth. Add in depth. I need another player here. I need another player there.
Mr. Maniac, I'm going to let you do some talking while I make my pick here, buddy.
All right. Yeah, Tim. I mean, what do you feel like is your success on offense and defense? I mean, how do you approach a game? Are you looking at ball control, big plays? Kind of how do you look at your offense and defense?
Defensively, it has never been my strong point, even when I was in Tennessee, which I'm ecstatic that Hurt took over that team and did really well with it. That means that I can say the building blocks were there, and he just took the torch and ran with it. So I'm really happy he did well. As far as defensively, it's not I'm more of an offensive, score 30, 40 points a game. And despite the fact that I finished 7-9, I don't think I was that far off. There was a lot of games, especially one against the Lions, one against the Bears, one against the Packers, that I had the ball late and I had the last drive, and I could not get to the end zone. And an end zone touchdown would have either tied the game or I would have went ahead. And if I take those 3 losses and make them wins, I'm a playoff team. So to me, it was simple that I need playmakers, people that I can trust, people that I can throw the ball to, and they'll catch it. So that was the focus, and that's what my game plan this season is, to just spread the ball. Obviously, Diggs and OBJ are going to get the ball. Cook's going to get a lot of running. I'm really pleased I got a backup running back, Royce Freeman, which he's going to get a lot of carries. Similar to what I had in the first season where I had Deion Lewis and Derrick Henry in Tennessee, where they were basically 50-50, splitting the carries.
Right.
And then, I'm going to try to stop the run. I got the Bears. They run the ball. Lions run the ball heavy. And then Priest, he always has good running backs. So I have to stop the run in that division.
That's a good philosophy. Stop the run and try to get those receivers making big plays down the field for you. I know with OBJ, that's going to be I know the guys over there in the north are probably wiping the sweat off the brow just a little bit, because I got a feeling we're gonna have a lot of OBJ highlights.
It's coming. Get your popcorn ready.
So talk to me about what do you really think? You've had a whole half a season or whatever that was. You've made some big trades, a draft, a free agency. You've cut some money here. Is this rebuild complete? Are we still a couple of steps away? What should we expect from the Minnesota Vikings for season 84?
We're not complete. The goal is like Cooley said, the Super Bowl. The goal should be for everybody's team, especially now. And we still have some holes. I'm not 100% pleased with my offensive line, but there's not much that I could have done. My cap penalties are way too high for me to cut a player anymore. I'm basically maxed out. I'm done. I'm at $15 million, and I basically have to roll with what I have, and then analyze at the end of this season what I need to do.
All right, we're here at pick number 28 in the 5th round, and you are listening to Mr. Tim of the Minnesota Vikings. So, Tim, what is the plan to get to that step? If the rebuild isn't complete, where are we worried? What are the strengths that you're going to capitalize? What will it take for the Minnesota Vikings to be in the Super Bowl if that rebuild isn't complete?
I have running backs. I have receivers. I picked up Zach Ertz, tight end. I have players that catch the ball. Do I have the quarterback to lead them? And I'm challenging Mitchell Weston on my team. He's got to come out and he's got to take over that quarterback, force me to keep him. And that's pretty much where it's going to be at. Because I thought for a while that should I not go after that defensive back, or should I not go after that defensive tackle and rather go after a quarterback? And I'm like, no, I want to stick with this guy and try one more season to see if he can do it. And if he can't do it, well, that'll be the priority in the offseason.
Yeah, it was a tough draft for quarterbacks, and you did. You inherited a pretty high pick there in your quarterback, and so I think it's a good plan to give him one more opportunity, and hopefully next year will be a much better quarterback crop to pick from. So, Mr. Tim, good luck, good health. Let's hope that the Minnesota Vikings get things turned around, because that's always been an interesting division with some good players that haven't always played up to their potential. So there's a real opportunity there. It's ripe for the taking. So let's see what the Minnesota Vikings can do in season 84. We'll be pulling for you, buddy.
Yeah, and everybody has a shot in that division. That's the nice thing, and you know, anybody can step up and take the reins and win that division and make a run in the playoffs. So that's what we're hopeful for, and that it's our turn.
Well,
thanks, guys, for having me on.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being on tonight. Good luck to you, Mr. Tim.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Tim of the Minnesota Vikings, a guy that I think has run his own league before, came here with a lot of experience, is one of the assistant commissioners, whatever that label is, for the OMFL too, and does a really good job over there helping us. You know, that league's going through some growing pains, as happens, right? But it is your baby that you started and had to hand off, and it does have some potential, and he helps us over there. So, you know, good luck to the Minnesota Vikings. You want to see that team do well, and it'll be interesting to see if he's got the quarterback that he can win with, because that is such a pivotal position.
Yeah, he's done a good job over there, and he did a real good job building that Titans team too.
Really good job.
And you know, Big Hurt kind of stepped in, slipped a couple house shoes on, and just kind of rode into the driver's seat and just took off. Just flying through that division
quietly too. Like nobody really paid him much attention over there, but he had a really, really good season and was just a couple of plays away from OMFL Bowl.
Yeah, and you know, and he gave Dwayne fits over there and stuff. You know, and that was when he kind of started getting a little bit of recognition. But you know, going back to what Tim built, you know, and it just seemed to fit him really well. So you know, obviously the GM qualities that Tim brings to the team is showed through, and Big Hurt kind of reaped the benefits from that, jumping into that team. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does with the Vikings. You can already see his molding taking shape. Like you said, 17-something free agents.
That's a big number.
Yeah, so he definitely had a plan going in to the offseason. So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds in season 84.
You're watching OMFL Bowl draft, or OMFL Bowl. You just said OMFL Bowl, but OMFL draft number 84 as we prepare for season 84. The preseason will start tonight. We'll give everybody 24 hours to play their preseason 4 game and to set their rosters and practice squads. And so we'll be into season 84 tomorrow night, and guys will have this whole weekend to start getting some games in. It's March Madness. Baseball opening day was today. My Houston Astros won. So it's just an exciting time. And we still technically have football. If you haven't watched the AFL, it's worth going to watch. I enjoy it. It's been fun to watch. So overall, it's a good night. It's been a good night with the draft. It's kind of hit a little bit of a lull here, but that always happens as we get late in the night. But here, before you know it, we're going to be into season 84. If you want to be on the draft, if you want to on the draft show and you want us to interview you, we'd love to have more callers. Please just let Maniac know, and we'll definitely start taking callers left and right here, because we got plenty of time to do so. And it's getting late, so it'd be nice to have some people to talk to. Overall, what are your thoughts on the draft?
Overall, I think there's been a lot of good talent in this draft. I know the last draft seemed like it was really low on a lot of high-end talent.
Mm-hmm.
But this draft seems to have been another really good draft that was loaded across the board, and you know, none bigger than the linebackers. You've seen the guys just go hog wild over all the linebackers there in the first and second rounds, basically, and left none for me. Thank you. But you know, I think seeing some of the guys' photos and stuff on the chat, they seem to be pretty pretty pleased with their draft.
Speak to that a little bit, because I don't get to watch. My chat's open, but I don't. There's no way I can do this and do that, and so I never pay attention till it's over. Who has been the most shocking photo that you've seen? Like, what's been the photo that you've been like, holy cow, how did that happen?
Probably the Falcons defensive tackle that was a star development. They're the 4th. That was probably a holy cow, moment. And then probably the other one was let's see, the quarterback for the Jets. I was not expecting a star development quarterback coming out of this draft whatsoever. I thought, a quick would probably be the max for the quarterbacks coming out. And, and then another one was that running back for the Browns, Palmer. He ended up being a star development for Chaotic, so those were probably the 3. Oh my goodness, I wasn't expecting those type of players coming out with that pick. And there they are for these guys to build and mold in season 84. So it'll be interesting to see if they're in the running for rookie of the year.
Yep, we're at pick number 4 in round number 6. You got the Steelers, the Pats, the Bucks, the Eagles, the Lions, and the Bengals. Again, if you want to come be on the draft show, please let Maniac know. We'll gladly bring you on. Overall, I think you get this late in the OMFL, and it's pretty slim pickings. I think there's still a ton of good tight ends out there. And when I say good, they'll be good players. I don't think that they're going to be drafted a ton just because there's a receiver I really like, Sindarius Green. He was actually my last receiver on my board. Northwestern, 5'11", 177. Ran a 4.47 40. Only did 8 in the bench press, but he's got some size at 5'11", 177. He's going to be a deep threat guy. Definitely like a slot 4th receiver. But you know what? The Bills have quietly had a really, really good draft. I like their O-linemen that they've picked. They've been a couple of head scratchers for me, but overall, I think they've really done a good job. But again, I think there'll be some good tight ends. Offensive line's pretty pick clean. Still some good kickers and punters out there. 1 or 2 offensive or defensive linemen that I like. And I think there's some outside linebackers that can move over to defensive end or be a pass rushing specialist in the 3-4 that can still play in this league. I'm not going to have the speed, won't have those intangibles that you would really like, like that high 40 or that high strength. But there's still some really good players out there. So, yeah, let's see what happens here as we come to a close. I think that there'll be definitely a run on like 5-ish free agents, rookie free agents that I think we'll get some high bids on. So it's always an interesting time in the OMFL to see who spends that extra cap because they know they're 1-year deals. It's kind of a renter player. They'll go put crazy, $12 million bid on a backup rookie linebacker, right? They'll go do those types of things because they know if they don't want the player, they can just cut them. And I think you'll have 2 or 3 guys in this draft that'll be free agents that guys are going to go after.
Yeah, there's always that 1 or 2 wide receivers that have like spectacular speed that just makes it to the free agents, and somebody says, hey, I'm putting the money out there and getting from a kick returner, or if he has decent attributes, build him up and try to make a slot receiver or something out of him. I think one of the other ones is quarterback. It seems to always have, 1 or 2 that kind of slide through that has that, 91, 92 throw power and decent, mid-range accuracy.
And I think there's still a guy out there that could be that. I like Bradley Bromlett. I'm just going to name him, 6'4", 231 out of Nebraska. He's my best quarterback that's left out there. I think that he could be like a potential late round guy that somebody could sneak on a practice squad maybe, or just kind of have as a really strong backup.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. He was actually one of the ones that I kind of pegged. If he was there, late in the 6th or 7th, I might take a flyer on him. I don't really need a quarterback, even though that did kind of hurt me in the playoffs when Mahomes went down with injury the second drive of the game, and then I had to go with my backup rookie that had only played sparingly throughout the season and had done terrible. And soon as Mahomes went down, I'd already knew the kind of game that my backup had. He's got good stats, but he just didn't seem to live it through in the season. But he definitely stepped it up, became clutch, and actually delivered a solid, really good outing in football for me and stuff, and kind of changed my mind on whether or not I really needed a quarterback. So, guys like him, he was a late round, 5th round draft pick last season for me. So guys like Bromlett can definitely step in and make an impact on a team. I think I was going to say there was one other guy that I was really interested in seeing what happens with him, and I think it was one of the left ends. I'm not sure exactly which one it was.
I think it was, at least on my book, he's like a top 3 player left. Giorgio Duncan, 6'7", 317 out of TCU. He's a left end. Like 5'18" on the 40, did 28 in the bench press, so he's an athlete. Has some potential there, right? That maybe a pass rushing specialist, a starter goes down in an injury. This guy can come in and give you a couple of games and do pretty well.
Yeah, that was one I was going to say, the TCU guy, because sometimes I don't remember the names, but I kind of remember the schools. Of course, Texas, TCU. So those guys seem to grab my attention more than not. But there's still some guys out here that could, possibly fall through the cracks. And like you said, there's going to be some bidding going on, and even these guys have had a really solid draft, better than what they ever thought. They go into this preseason going, you know what? I got this older player. He's about the same. He's making all this money. Drop him, get him off my books for next year, and play the rookie. And lo and behold, then here's a guy that everybody's going to be fighting over that would expected to be on the free agency and stuff. So that's one of the things that makes it kind of fun, especially with our bidding system and stuff. It just, you can see. Some guys, there'll be 10 slots of different owners putting in bids on just one particular player, so it's kind of cool.
Is there anybody that wants to come on and do an interview with us?
I have not seen anybody else speak of it.
If you want to, please let Mr. Maniac know. We'd love to bring you on and hear from you about your season, hear from you about your team, and just kind of overall hear what you're thinking as we wrap it up. I know guys are getting antsy, getting a little what's the word I'm looking for? A little bitey there in the Discord chat, telling people to hurry up. I know that everybody's itching. They want to come in and get to playing. So look, if anybody in this league's going to crack the whip, it's going to be Bill. He's going to crack that whip pretty loud. Look, I think there's still some fullbacks that can make a difference in this league. I've had some pretty good luck of grabbing a couple of fullbacks in the last couple of seasons. There's definitely some guys there. Not a lot of speed left in the receiver market, but still some players that if you don't really care about the speed and you want more of that height, Sean Fredrickson, Joseph Needley, Jermichael Bishop, those are all really good players there. So there's some potential. We're seeing some quarterbacks go off here, but not the quarterback that we both talked about. Benjamin Schnabel goes over to the Cincinnati Bengals, 6'1", 222, out of Iowa, a West Coast guy. I'm pretty sure the Bengals are not around. He hasn't said he's not around, but his clock has been running out every time, so I'm pretty sure he's not around.
Yeah. Let's see. Rob said he would hop on and help kill some time.
Well, that's exactly what we need to kill some time. Mr. Rob of New England?
Yes.
Hey.
There we go. Mr. Rob of New England, the trade calculator expert. We lost our buddy Tay, who helped me build that calculator. It was my idea, but he made it happen. And Rob has stepped in with his expertise and helped us with that. Rob, welcome to the OMFL Draft Show number 84. How you doing, bud?
Thank you. It's been a good draft for us.
Well, let's talk about your team. You came in, help refresh my memory. Did you get the entire season? I think you came in early this season, right?
Week 9 or week 8?
Well,
believe. So
you got about half a year. So tell me about your team. What did you think taking over that team? What was weak? What was strong? Was it built for you? Not built for you? What were your thoughts?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think the other guy trained very often. Um, so if you look at like the attribute history on some like my superstars,
Mm-hmm.
they went up like 2 overall in their entire time here. So we're working on making up for lost time, but we had a great draft. Still got some holes to fill, especially at wide receiver, but secondary got a lot better. We don't have to start an 83 speed strong safety anymore. Um, we're coming around.
Now, that team seemed to me to be a team that was always old and older, and he kind of built through free agency. Did you have to infuse some youth and some athleticism?
Yeah, at some spots, yes. He did a good job with the D line. Actually, an amazing D line and a really good O line. Outside of that, there's a lot to be desired, but he did a great job with that. Trey Flowers and Silas Watt, I believe, are just make up for holes basically everywhere else in the defense.
Well, what were your needs as you moved into the re-sign period, free agency? What were you looking to achieve? How's your cap situation?
Cap situation wasn't great, but it really wasn't bad because I didn't have anyone I really wanted back that badly. So I think next year is going to be a pain because it's my former middle linebacker, outside linebackers are going to be up for re-signing, and I think Morris Adkins, which wide receiver, who's basically my entire offense, is going to be up for re-signing as well. So this season's going to be a lot more challenging than the last one was financially, but this draft has been amazing for me. I struck gold on that middle linebacker. I picked at number 6 overall, and I've gotten lucky with some development picks later on.
Well, talk about the picks. I think that you have had one of the better drafts here tonight. What were the things that surprised you about it?
The middle linebacker, or the linebackers overall, the run on that start until like 12 or 10 or so, and the guy I picked was number 1 on my board overall. So I didn't expect him to fall, but he did. So really happy about that. And then overall, it's been kind of strange draft with, I guess, just how things played out, not having like a real top tier quarterback, not really having a big wide receiver has made things play out a little differently than I thought they would.
Mr. Maniac, what do you got for our buddy Rob?
Hey, Rob coming in with the Patriots and stuff. I know it's always tough coming in the middle of the season and stuff, but what did you think about your competition over there in the East? Those guys. I've played over there in last Madden, and I kind of know what those guys bring, but I kind of want your take on how you approached your games versus these guys once you kind of started getting a feel.
Well, I only actually got the chance to play against Jason. We played twice, and they're both great games, really fun. One of them ended in it was overtime, and it was the weirdest ending ever. He stopped me on about the 50-yard line, punted. It went off his returner's head, and
I remember that
ends
game
up for the win. So we played some great games. The other one, he was a 1-score game that he won, but I didn't get to play Bills or Kevin. So we'll see about that next season. But I know that it's been a tough division up until now.
Watching the Jets make it to the Super Bowl and stuff, that kind of gives you an idea, or the OMFL Bowl, should I say, kind of gives you an idea of what that division has, because, I mean, he's a really good player.
Yeah, he's fun to play because, he likes to use a cornerback, which is just different and makes the game play differently than it normally does. But he put together a spectacular season. He's got a great offensive line, and together a really good balanced attack that's hard to predict.
So give me some predictions. What should we expect from the New England Patriots? Is this rebuild complete? Do you feel like you got some more holes? What are we looking
not.
for?
we got holes still. I'm not going to go out on a limb like Tim or Gabe. I think we're going to go shoot for 9-7. Maybe we squeak in if the AFC has got a bad year. But we'll see. Crazier things have happened. Maybe we go. I'd put my ceiling at like 11-5. But we'll be better than we were last year.
Well, please show my new buddy Rob some love for helping us with this trade calculator. He had all kinds of really great ideas and just started digging at it, and is really just helping us do what we do even better.
At a revision for it, because there's a couple things that Mo pointed out to me that could be improved with it. So I'm working on a revamp. So run that by you whenever I get it done.
I'm super excited, and I super appreciate you letting us use your talents. And I'm wishing you a lot of luck, a lot of health this year, and I can't wait to see what you do with these New England Patriots.
Great. Awesome. Thank you for having me.
There you have it, Mr. Rob of the New England Patriots. We're wishing him luck in season 84. It is, look, things happen, right? And you're kind of trucking along, and for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months there, it felt like, okay, the guys we have here now are going to be here forever. And then almost like back to back, we lost like 3 or 4 guys just because of life. And let's call a spade a spade. I hate the negativity and I've tried to cut it out this year, but this is not a Madden that people love. And this Madden has wore down on some people, as last Madden did on me. And so some people have left just because of the game. And the summertime is here. This season and next season I expect to be pretty rough as well. Mr. Maniac, it's your pick, so I just want to make sure you know. All right. So, we lost some really good guys, some guys that we didn't think we'd lose, and yet we added in some new guys like Rob, like Cooley, I'm not going to go through the whole list because I'm going to forget somebody, but we've just had some really great guys to be added here, and that's what makes the OMFL such a special place, is that we already have a lot of really good dudes, and anytime you lose a good guy, it really, really sucks. But overall, our core is still here, and then we add to it guys who want to give up their talents and want to help us be better and do better. And, I just greatly, really appreciate it. So here we are, pick number 22 in the 6th round. You got the Chiefs, the Jags, the Saints, the Bears, the Bengals, the Cards, and the Titans. Before you know it, we're going to be in round number 7, and hopefully we'll fly through round number 7. So if you want to be interviewed, now's the time. We'll take our next interview after we get done with my pick, so I can go ahead and concentrate a little bit on my pick. But please let Maniac know, and we'll make sure that we get you on here. I see that Coach Gazavo, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm messing it all up, Coach. My bad. Kevin's here. Cooley's still listening. Rob Savante, who's an old PC buddy. And then my buddy, Mr. 00, who's still here. So lots of people listening. I'm pretty sure there's still people on YouTube. I turned it off because nobody was talking. But thank you guys so much. Make sure you like our videos. Likes and watches and subscriptions all help us get more out there. We appreciate all of our partners out there that help us do what we do. Daddy Leagues, League Crawler, and my brain is completely blank. I'm completely fried now. It's getting so late. But our new buddies, why am I drawing a blank on this? Who's our new Xbox League partners? Come on, Nate.
Oh, my gosh.
No, it's too late. You guys have to forgive me. Let's do this. Let's talk about Mr. Cribbs. We can do that. So tell me about Mr. Hammond Cribbs, 5'10", 211, out of Alabama. I already don't like him.
Well, I drafted this guy with the intentions of fully moving him to safety with his combine numbers, because I knew his speed wasn't going to be there. And he's actually got 88 speed, so it's not bad. It fits right in with the safety. 74 coverage, 75 zone coverage, 74 man, 66 play rec, 83 agility, 78 press, jumping 79. He's definitely got good block shed. Also, for being a cornerback, 60 block shed, and strength is 69, which it's kind of on on the bubble there. But for a cornerback, big cornerback, he'll make a good transition to probably free safety, possibly even strong safety backup.
Yeah, I went with Mr. Giorgio Duncan. We've been talking about this guy for a while. I didn't really necessarily need a defensive end, but it's like, man, like we've been talking for a while. Let's get him off the board and see what he looked like. 6'7", 17 out of TCU, power rusher, 23 years old, 178. I got him at 184. Let's look at some stats. Only 69 overall, but 75 power move, 66 speed, but I'm okay with that. I play a 3-4. He's got the size at 3'11", 317 to play in that. 82 acceleration, I do like that. 84 strength, not in love with that. I do like 74 block shed. I do like his 76 tackle. He needs work everywhere else, though. 74 pursuits, pretty good. 78 stamina, 85 injury. So 68 hit power, don't love it. But, taking a flyer this late, it is what it is this late in the draft.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick for this point in time of the draft and stuff. We say that, but then somebody's in the chat's going to be going like, "Oh, look at this superstar guy that I found." You're like,
yeah,
how did I miss him?
There's one guy that I'm hoping falls to me in the 7th round. I doubt that he will, but I do have my eyes on a guy that I'm hoping falls to me that I knew I was either going to take Duncan late and this other guy first, but I decided might as well go Duncan. So we'll see how it goes. So again, if you want us to interview you, we would love to talk to you about your draft and about your team. Just hit up Maniac. We're getting late in the draft, and so we got people taking flyers. Aaron Owens, left tackle out of Virginia, 68 overall. So you're not even seeing really big numbers now. If you see anything like 71, 72, 73, 74, like somewhere in there, that's going to be a big, big number here for the last round. We're almost to the last round, I should say. Let me go ahead and skip the Cardinals, who is proposing to his girl tonight. So good luck to him. Hopefully she doesn't throw the wine in your face and you come back an engaged man.
Minnesota says you can skip him, and also I think Double Dome may possibly be wanting to come on. He was asking me about a mic, using the mic for the PS4, so I think he's listening to us on the PS4.
Well, Double, if you want to come on, make sure you tell Maniac that for sure you want to come on, and we'll make it happen. We'll unmute you. I love how Bill says, "Nate, you're up." I know, Bill. I know. I was looking. I'm sorry, buddy. Sodden Bowl. Thank you, Coach. I could not remember Sodden Bowl, and my apologies. It's 10:30 at night after a long day, and I am on a pain pill because my leg is killing me. So I'm going to use all that as an excuse as to why I couldn't remember Sodden Bowl. But they've been great. They've got an owner over there that is part of them that was here for a little bit back when we were grown folks and was part of our wrestling league. Just a good dude. I was sad to see him go, but he's doing big things over there in the Xbox world. He made a connection with Sodden Bowl, and we love that partnership. We love all of our partners. We really do. We're lucky enough to – it's one of the things I've been trying to help the community think about differently, and that's about partners and how we use them. And so we have several wrestling partners. We have several community partners. We have our buddies at Overtime Heroics who gave away a $20 gift card for PSN, and it's just been great. And I'm excited about the future here. As anyone, it wears down on me sometimes. It's a lot of work that I put into this place, and you do have. It's hard. It's hard to balance all of these big personalities, and there are guys that. When you're heavy, I think the song's "Heavy is the Head That Wears the Crown." I do not wear a crown. I am not the king here, but I definitely take my fair shots from people who grow hot and cold with me, and that can be tough sometimes. But overall, we've got good people here, and I love what we do. And look, my ultimate goal is that we become a place that if people play sports games or shooter games on PS4 and they're adults, that they think about coming here first and foremost. And I think we're well on our way to doing that. So I appreciate everyone who helps give financially or gives of your talents, like Rob, like the board, look like Chaotic, who helps us with our draft boards. So as everyone knows, it's not a secret. I don't hide it. It's not like some thing. Like reason I'm able to do these draft shows and use all of the information is because guys agree to share their draft information, and we all kind of share together so that I can do these draft shows. And it's, it's work to put these draft boards together, and Chaotic has helped with that. And I appreciate him. So it's been good. I'm ready, though. I'm ready to get into the season. I'm ready. We're here at pick number 1 in the 7th round. I'm ready to get back to Press Pass Lives. I'm just ready to kind of get back to the groove of things. So it's going to be here tonight.
Yeah, it will be here. I'm ready.
Talk about the Fantasy Football League. It's an idea I've had for a long time, and then you took it and ran with it and really put together something that was really fun to play in. I was just kidding. I did dominate a little bit, but I got lucky. Talk about fantasy football. I know that we've had some ideas about adding a new incentive to it. It was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. But what were your thoughts about the creator of it and how it turned out?
Well, the fantasy football was something that, you kept saying, like, this is something that guys could run with and make a incentive, out of it or whatever, to help get gold for themselves and stuff. And I started thinking, like, I think it'd be pretty simple, if we could do it. We started up, and then I had the issue with the Google Doc the first time, and so kind of had to fold it. And so then I got some help from Mo, Cincy, and Massimo. Kind of
real quick. I'm sorry, but didn't they say I could skip the Texans? I don't remember now.
I know. Tim said he could be skipped.
I'm not going to skip Outlaw. I'm not sure if he's around or not. My bad. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No. That's all right. But I got some help from those guys, Massimo, Mo, and Cincy. I just got kind of picked their brain and asked them, what they thought, because they were kind of vocal about, what they wanted to see from it. And so kind of incorporated some of those things, kind of simplified it a little bit more, got a lot of input from you as well. And so we come up with basically drafting the teams and open up the floor to any player across the board. And then kind of put the responsibility on the guys that were submitting weekly rosters, which, they didn't have to be submitted weekly. In fact, we had some that submitted them basically once every 5 weeks, and it still worked out. So, I mean, it wasn't nothing, and it wasn't really hard to go in and figure out, at the end, getting the numbers transferred over. It wasn't a huge deal. So it really panned out. I think guys really enjoyed it, loved doing it. And then the rewards that come from it, the star development for the winner, and like you said, you dominated. I think you had a couple of weeks where you had like 110 points or something like that. Yeah, it was crazy. So and I think the next best scorer was like 93 points in a week. So you just had several weeks where you just racked off some really huge points by players but you came in on top. Then we had Colin.
Can I ask? Is that draft going to be? Tonight, or like when is the draft going to happen for the next year?
The draft will happen. We will have it tonight, or actually we'll start tomorrow through 24 hours before we start the season. But guys will be able to go onto the forum, post their new roster for the next season. And it's like I said, it's real simple. And the idea that I got from you, and I think everybody should implement to make it easier, lock in your links for your players to each link on the forum there. So that all you have to do is just click on it, go to their page, look real quick, write it down. Most of the time I minimize my screen, split it half and half, have both screens open, and I put it input for a week, and I'm done within a minute, 2 minutes to put in a week. So it's really simple, and a good way to build up your team. If you're struggling with getting XP for your players or whatnot, or you see all these guys making the Pro Bowl at the end of the season. Well, if you got good GM traits, talent. You see all the guys that you feel like you could put on your fantasy team and score a lot of points and get in that top 3. This is for you.
Yep.
And then we also have now for the one that that's going to be in the league and actually submit your points weekly. If you come in last place, you're going to get some points too. So.
Dang it. Freaking 00 took the one guy I was hoping that would fall. 00, post a photo. Yeah, look, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was pissed off. I hate when they take your player that you were waiting. But look, the fantasy football was excellent and added to the goal sheet. And so the motto is, if you're new here, is that we kill the in-game off-season awards. At least we're supposed to. We didn't this year on accident, but we tried to kill them. Is the Bucks around? Yeah, the Bucks are around. And we let you get those through a plethora of incentives. I don't know of any other league that has as many opportunities for you to earn XP and development traits and all that fun stuff that we do outside of the OMFL. And fantasy football is definitely one of those. And it's been a ton of fun. It keeps you engaged. And it's just, yeah, I mean, I like it. I like what we do. Let's see. Here's this Maxwell guy. 77 speed, 86 acceleration, 71 block shed, 73 tackle. That's not what I expected because he had A+ tackle. That's not A+ tackle. So, all right, 00. I'm not. Oh, he's quick dev. Okay, that's awesome. I didn't expect that. But a nice pick for 00. 00, I don't know if you still want to come on, but if you do, just kind of confirm that you have a mic and you can unmute yourself, and we'll bring you on.
All right. He did say he would come on after this next pick.
Okay.
So
and he's up right now.
Yeah, he's on deck. And he'll get to talk about his draft. He's actually had a pretty good draft too.
Look, he's a team that has needed to figure some things out. They were saying don't skip him. He's been a team that's needed to figure some things out here, but overall, a very good running team, a team that is got some potential. He can't turn the ball over. And look, I've always said this from day one, is he's his worst enemy, and if he could ever get out of his own head, I think that he could put a winning season. And again, we've talked about that division a lot tonight. It's ripe for the taking, right? No, I think the Bears won that division at 8-8 or 8-7-1 or some crazy crap like that, right? It's not like it's a 12 or 13 win team. Like I'm freaking playing the Falcons 16-0 every year over there.
Hey, I'm right here. You don't have to talk about me.
There he is, Mr. 00. One of the few guys that, the only guy that's been with me for 20 years or whatever it's been, 18 years, outside of a couple of seasons that he didn't play here, but and one of the few guys that I got to meet in person. So 00, welcome to the show. Let's talk about your team.
How you guys doing tonight?
Oh, good.
Doing good. Your mic also sounds really good. So let's talk about your team, man. What was up with the Lions? You seem to get some running game things figured out, but talk about your team from season 83.
That was it. I limited my turnovers. I think I only had 9 interceptions all year, but I still can't throw the ball. They don't catch nothing. The one guy that can catch can't get open.
That's going to be a problem if the guy that can catch can't get open and the guy that can't get open can't catch.
84 speed, you just can't get away from anybody.
Well, what were your plans as you went into the offseason here? How was your cap situation? What was your re-sign situation? What were you trying to do in free agency, and were you successful?
I tried to get a little bit better on my offensive line. I think I went a little overboard. I have like 19 of them now. They're just average. I think I only have one stud there. But I ran with that team last year, so hopefully it's a little better this year. I picked up a couple rookies. Hopefully they'll do a little better blocking for me. I bolstered my linebacker. Took a first-round linebacker. Looks like a stud. I did lose Darius Slay, so that's going to be interesting. I did not replace him. Going to next man up. We'll see how he plays out. Other than that, we're just gonna have to see. My defensive line should be better. Linebackers better. Hopefully that makes up for the secondary.
Well, what
And
about
like
the? Go ahead.
like
Go
Tim
ahead.
said, if I score more points than another team, I win. I think that's what Tim said.
Yeah, I think that's how the game usually works. I think I
Yeah.
think I think winning percentage is like close to 100% when you score
Right.
more points than the other guy. So
'Cause
definitely,
I heard that point that he said if he scored more than me, the Bears or the Packers, he would have won those games.
it is. Hey, he wasn't wrong. You know, he
This
definitely
is true.
he definitely was not wrong. Well, what about the
Right.
draft? How is your draft pick situation? You've kind of been a guy that changes around a little bit. Sometimes you draft out, and sometimes you get picks. But what was your draft situation, and are you happy how it's turned out?
Well, I need offense, but it seems like first round every year I take a linebacker. I don't know why. It just goes that way. Like best available, and it ends up being a linebacker. Then I took a few young linemen. They're average. They're nothing special to write home about. Got a solid fullback. I wanted to take a tight end here in the 7th round, but somebody got him like 2 picks before me. I wanted to get a run blocking tight end, so that's when I went with the second linebacker. I planned on taking the one you wanted all along. I made a trade for that pick just to get him. So,
Yeah, that's usually the way it works, Mr. Maniac.
that's how it goes.
What do you have for our buddy 00?
00, man. Good to have you on the show.
Thanks, sir.
I think you really had a good draft so far, and what are you expecting now that first round middle linebacker?
He's actually a left outside linebacker. He should pair well with my other 2 linebackers here. He gives me 3 solid ones now. I got 2 young. One's a mid 80s. Then this rookie here is a 80 overall. I got good speed at him on. I got Potter to lead the middle there. He's dropped to a 98 this year, so he is getting old.
98.
Yeah. Other than that, they should be good. Hopefully, it'll make up for the what I lost there with Slade. It's hard to replace the 93, 94 overall cornerback here. Good coverage skills, but we'll see what we can do.
Right. If you get your front 7 making more pressure, then that'll help cover up any deficit you may have back there.
Yeah, we'll see how it is. Then the 2nd and 3rd round, I took 2 left tackle and a right guard. Both average 73, 74 overall, normal developments. Got a run blocking tight end here or fullback. 80 speed, decent blocking. So most of the running game a little. Hopefully, it opens up the pass.
Yeah, you definitely did take a turn this last season. You put a lot of emphasis in the running game and kind of toned down a lot of those turnovers. I know you were having lots of issues, with the passing and stuff, but you really did solidify that rushing attack.
Yeah, and I was looking at it too because, like everyone was saying, I was running the ball way too much. But when I look at it, I'm about 60-40 here. So I know there were some games I won.
Some games you were over that 70.
Oh no, I'm saying that. I was just getting there. I mean, there was one game I think I had under 10 passes and 30 rushes.
Oh, that's a lot.
But
what brought the success?
I was getting like 6-7 yards on first down. What do you do?
You pass the ball more than 10 times. That's what you do.
I understand, but you go with the flow of the game. We always know it's average.
At least just roll out and throw the ball away.
Okay. Well, here's what I did. I took the fastest quarterback in the draft, so I can do that. I'll just take him, run, throw. No, I'm just kidding with that.
What brought on the success in the rushing game? Though you did have a lot of success, it kind of came out of nowhere. What were the reasons for that?
I can't tell you. He was everything was between the tackles. I could hardly get outside the tackles. I did pick up. Somebody dropped Pumphrey, the running back in free agency. I picked him up, and he was nice for a change of pace. Every now and then I could jump outside. My rookie Harvey and Johnson's, all their success was between the tackles. I was just finding the holes and able to stick with them. If you look at my line, it's nothing special. I have one guy over 90, and I think the rest are under 80. All 18 of them.
We'll talk about what do we expect in season 84. I mean, it's been a division that's been won by a 500 team almost every single season. So who's going to step up, and what's it going to take for that team to be you?
I guess I got to open it up with my quarterback some. We're going to have to see what he can do throwing the ball. If I open that up, hopefully it'll open enough so I can get in the end zone more. If I get in the end zone, my defense good enough to beat anybody in the division. I've never had a problem with the defense part.
Yeah, your defense is really tough. I've played you a couple times this Madden, and you've been one of the toughest defenders I've had to go against.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I don't think I've given up over 30 more than once or twice. In the 20s, not often. So, if I can get some scoring going, we'll do all right.
I think that you can do that. It's going to come down to, can you keep from turning the ball over? And I think that if you just play your normal football, that can happen. You got to be smart, but this division is definitely yours for the taking. Who do you think is going to give you the most challenging games?
Odell.
Yeah.
Just that easy. I mean, how do you cover him?
Yeah, with no Slay, and then you got Odell.
I still got White, which will be on him, but it's him. That speed is his route running. We all know the defense is lacking a little, so it's an offensive game this year.
It's definitely an offensive game. Well, there you have it, Mr. 00. I am pulling for you. Hopefully good health and good mental health, because I know this game drives you insane sometimes. So, look, I'm pulling for you.
Like you did last year, I feel like that right now.
No, I definitely struggled last year. Last game, I had to hold on to the very, very end, because it was a tough game. And I know you, along with others, are struggling with this game. So, hang in there. Hang in there. I'm pulling for your team. It's going to be a fun team, and whenever you're winning and playing well, it makes for that Central Division to be a whole lot more enjoyable. And to be honest, I want to see somebody step up and take control of that division. So hopefully it's your Detroit Lions.
We'll try to step up.
Well, there you have it, Mr. 00 of the Detroit Lions. Thanks so much for joining us, and it's going to bring us here.
Good luck in the season.
Yeah, you too, my friend.
Have a good one.
Good luck, buddy.
Pick number 23 of the 7th round. So here, let me lay out what this is going to look like a little bit as we move into the off season. Everyone's going to get 10 minutes per round. So week 1, 2, and 3, you're going to get 10 minutes. We're going to stop into week 4. That gives you 10 minutes to do training, move players around, do what you got to do. So 10 minutes. Then we're going to move it into week 4. In week 4, you can play your week 4 game. Injuries will be off. We will reset everyone's confidence. We also have to fix these rookies. Because I was not able to edit the draft before. So we have to go in and take away a big hitter and high motor and play ball trait and run after catch. Like, we have to do those settings to match what the rest of the league is at. And then we're going to move into hopefully week 1 by late tomorrow. It just depends on how quickly or how slowly it takes us to get these rookies edited. Plus, I know contracts are going to be coming in. Remember, you can only sign 5 free agents. You can go over that amount for your practice squad, but we highly suggest that you get your practice squad filled up just because, well, it can be tough, right? And the CPU will do weird stuff sometimes with your team. So that's what the off season is going to look like, and it's going to be fun. I'm ready to get there. I'm ready to start playing some football again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'm finally going to just take this kid. I don't need a quarterback, but it's like I want to see what he looks like. Mr. Bradley Brantlett. I'm going to go ahead and take him. What the hell? I got nothing else to lose here. Let's see. 65 overall. 21 years old, out of Nebraska, 6'4", 231. Quick. He's a quick dev. That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
91 throwing power, 78 deep accuracy. I like that. 75 short, 71 medium accuracy, 81 throwing on the run, 71 play action. His awareness is low. His throwing under pressure is low. he can't carry the ball very well. 59. I like it for a 7th-round pick at 24. I'll take that all day, every day.
That's not bad at all. Actually, that quick dev with young guys is huge. I mean, if you focus train a guy like that, he's got a lot of the traits already with good arm strength and stuff like that. You could make a really good quarterback in a couple of seasons.
Yep, I definitely have too many quarterbacks now. I've already got 2 other guys that I really like, and so if you need a young quarterback, come talk to me. I'll let something go for like a 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick, something like that. Let's make a deal and let's make it happen. So it's going to bring us to the end of our show. We got the Titans on the board now, then Colts, Falcons, Jets, and Cowboys. What do you think? It's been a good night. It's 10:55, so the end of this draft has dragged on just a little bit, but outside of technical difficulties, a blown-out knee and some pain pills and a lot of other crap, what did you think about the draft?
I thought it was really well. We got into the 2nd round with the pause draft again. It was successful to get through at least one round of the draft and part of the 2nd. And, seeing guys with their drafts and stuff, I think most everybody's drafts seem to be pretty well. We had some teams that had even a better draft than some of the other ones. With teams like the Lions, had a really decent draft. Then you had the Giants. To me, I think the Giants still win this draft because he had really, really good picks all through the draft. But the couple of draft picks that he had right there at the first with the superstar safety, and then I believe he had another star development player in that 1st round, or may have been quick. But anyway, I really thought that he was probably the winner of the draft in my book. But overall, I think a lot of guys really did have a really good draft.
I agree with you. This is one of the few drafts that I can't say there was like this real like loser team, right? There was nobody that really blew it. There's a couple questionable picks, but nothing crazy, nothing that really stood out. Overall, I think everybody did their homework, did a really good draft. It's been fun. The Browns had a good draft. The Titans had a good draft. I'm trying to think of some of these. The Bills had a really good draft.
Yeah, there was no Priest this year with 4 or 5 straight running backs.
Nothing crazy like that. It's been a good draft, and I appreciate you so much for being on today. I know this is a big sacrifice for people to tell their wives, hey, tonight you won't really see me because I got to do a draft. My wife is always kind of patient, pretty patient, fairly patient whenever I do these. But I appreciate you being on. You make it so much more fun than me just talking to myself. And I'm sorry I didn't get to do a pre-draft show as we normally do, but thank you guys for being patient. We will make sure that we post this, and I rip the audio, and we'll post the audio as well because I know guys love to go back and listen to the draft show. It's always my funnest thing. This wasn't one of my best ones that we've ever done. There definitely was some hits and misses with our technical difficulties, but overall, this was a ton of fun. And it's here, buddy. Season 84 in the next 10 seconds is going to be started. We'll be 10 minutes each. I'll announce it in chat. We'll get us into week 4. Mr. Maniac, thank you again, buddy. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me on. Let's get it started.
Let's do it. Well, OMFL, you are officially in Season 84. Let's go get us into preseason week 1. I'll announce 10 minutes, and we'll get busy. For Maniac, for Dwayne, for all the board here in the OMFL, thank you so much for watching Press Pass Live, the 84 season edition of our draft show. We appreciate you. Have a blessed week. Good night, and we'll see you later. Peace.
Later.